Content warning. In this episode, you'll be hearing mentions of child sex abuse in general, religious exploitation, professional exploitation,
all kinds of
substance abuse,
nudity.
Violence, nudity.
This is not
explicit
safe,
language.
Not safe to listen to in front of children.
This is an adult
podcast.
at work.
This is an adult
explicit
podcast.
Content warning.
We're gonna get fucking content flagged on YouTube.
We're gonna get content flagged because you just said "fuck" in our disclaimer.
I've said fuck a few times.
Welcome to episode 6 of What We Beat Last Week, the only podcast where 4 white people give their opinions on things. I'm trying out some new intros. Do you guys
I like it. Hit me with another one.
Welcome back to What We Beat Last Week. Did you like that one? Short and sweet.
Yeah.
Welcome to episode 6 of What We Beat Last Week, the podcast where we talk about all the media we beat in the last week, including books, movies, TV shows, music, and everything else. My name is Joey. I'm joined by Josiah.
Hello.
Nikki.
Hello.
And Rachel.
Hello.
All right, let's start with movies.
All right, so
We're shaking it up. We're going to start with movies this time.
this week did not have a lot of big premieres.
No, we don't have a big marquee movie to review
No.
this week, unfortunately.
So this is coming to us as individuals responsible for providing our own movies. So a movie that me and Rachel watched together is called VHS.
It was a lot. It was tense the entire time.
Is that... Okay, yeah, VHS. It's like a compilation of
It's an
short
anthology horror movie
Yeah.
about some guys who are like, I know a little bit of... I got this anonymous tip to get some money. It's found footage, and they go...
right. I forgot there is like a wraparound story. Yeah.
Yes. And so they go to this house where they find... They're supposed to steal a tape. One videotape they're supposed to steal. And these guys are hooligans, first of all. They're kind of just
They're
a bunch of
actually
knuckleheads.
fucking assholes.
They're kind of...
They're bad people.
Horrible people.
And I was not rooting for them
One
to
of
live.
the things they did like prior to this is that they were like filming. They drove into a parking garage
Anonymously.
and just ran up to a man and a woman, like pushed that man out of the way, and then just lifted up this woman's shirt, and they just like
On
filmed
camera.
her naked body
screaming,
and while she's
and
screaming,
said,
they're like,
"We're gonna make so much money off of this. Let's go up the skirts next time."
Yeah. And so they go
was
to
not
this
rooting for
house
them.
I would say that's
that
bad.
they've received this anonymous tip for. Go to this house and they find a
Break
dead
and
man.
enter into it.
Yeah, they find a dead man
Criminals.
just sitting in a chair in front of like 5 TVs. And so they go searching through the house, and one by one, each of them puts a tape into the VHS player, and they slowly start disappearing. It's got a couple main stories. The first one is sort of this vampire story about, for the most part, everyone in this is kind of, there's some big pieces of shit. It's kind of you get your comeuppance sort of thing.
That was the creepiest one, I think. The
very
vampire
first one,
yeah.
the vampire one.
I like the vampire
where
one.
they're out there. It's 3 bros hanging out, and
Weird ass bitch.
they're trying to get chicks, man, and they
With their creepy glasses.
yeah, one guy's got a pair of glasses
Worse,
on,
the recording glasses.
mhm. So eventually
And creepy friends.
this one gal kind of latches onto that guy who recording all of it. Found she later reveals to be a vampire. Eats the guy who's trying to like force himself upon her, and the other guy
And another unconscious woman.
Yeah, and so
Men
both
acting
those
badly
guys
is
kind
the
of
theme of this.
yeah. The next one involved a man and a woman on a road trip, and
That one was the scariest
he
one for
gets
me.
murdered by some random invader who
But
is
that's-
revealed to be the wife, and her are in some sort of love affair, and
But before you know that, it's just them on a road trip, and it cuts to them at night. Somebody creeping through their room, uncovering
That
them,
shit is creepy.
showing her like panties
Yeah.
with a knife.
yeah,
It was terrifying. It was
yeah.
the least supernatural one, and that's why it was the
Yeah,
scariest
it had-
one.
I don't
Because
think
I
it
was
had
like,
any
that's not a
aspect of
ghost. That's
supernatural.
just a murderer.
yeah.
And they locked their doors. Yeah, it was very scary.
And then the next one had this weird glitch killer where it was a group of friends went up to the woods, and it's revealed that one of the survivors, I guess one of the gals there, she survived the last time she came to this woods, and survived this glitch killer who's like, it's like Cyber Chase kind of like blinking around.
Like Cyber Chase.
And she's like set up a bunch of traps for him, like let all of her other friends die as like bait. Yeah. And then she ends up getting killed.
That part was kind of gory.
I have no memory of that one.
Well, that one, like, he then at the end, he starts like, after like, she like fucks him. She gets him caught in like in a punji spike trap. She gets catches him in a bear trap.
Can you call him that?
He pretends to be dead. He pulls a possum.
Yeah,
he
well,
pretends to be dead.
she like has one of those
down.
like floor traps where it like steps on a thing and it springs up and shoots like a bunch of spikes into his whole body. And then she's like, yeah, fuck you. I'm the best. I killed you. And then he just disappears. And not only does he kill her, he then starts to like pull out her intestines.
Oh. Yeah, it was really gory.
Then the next one was this woman is talking over like AOL chat with her boyfriend who lives so far away, and she's like having ghost experiences where she keeps seeing ghosts. Like there's like she's haunted. My apartment's haunted, and it's revealed that she actually is being like there's aliens that are like growing hybrid children in her body.
Oh,
and yeah.
But the ghosts are actually pretty scary. Her little weenie boyfriend always has his shirt off in a way that annoyed me.
And it turns out he's like a medical student or something, and he's like harvesting these children, and he's also like conducting this, saying like I mean, he's just like, she can't take much more of this, and then cuts to him doing it with another girl, essentially being like prepping her, like, hey, how's it going?
And then she gets her tits out. Yeah. Lots of tits. Lots of tits.
Lots of tits. Peenar too.
Yeah, but
so
dies.
I think it's fine.
Oh, they all die.
I think there's some as you know what, throw them in there.
I've been saying VHS has a little something for everybody.
Has a little something for everyone.
It really does.
Movie for the
and
people.
Then the last one revealed was a group of bros who thought that they were going to a Halloween party. And they're like, ooh, there's like
really
this
goofy
cool
outfits.
haunted house thing. No one's here. No one's partying. They're like walking
house.
through, and they're like, oh, there's some spooky stuff happening. Ooh, someone's making the lights
to the
flicker.
attic.
And they go up to the attic, and there's this weird ritual going on. And they start chanting with them. They think like
it's a performance.
Oh, go, go, go. And they're like, what
Certainly
what are you
can't be
doing
real.
here? What are you doing here? And yeah.
That's epic.
And then they free the woman who's like being
who's like
tortured.
being sacrificed, essentially. Tortured and going to be sacrificed, and then turns out she was the ghost all along.
Oh,
and then she kills them.
Yeah, she cuts their car off on a train track.
Yeah,
epic.
It was a wild ride. I like the supernatural ones because they're not realistic. The ones that were realistic were the scariest.
It was very, I would say it was kind of intense the entire time because there was a lot of, if it wasn't like scary shit happening, that was probably the least intense part, I would say, is like the actual like scary horror elements. The most were like the horrible things that people were doing.
It was a lot of like people on their worst behavior. There was also a clip of like a man getting a woman over to his apartment for the first time and like secretly recording her and her discovering the camera. Like a lot of like, get your tits out.
And
in the worst circumstances. So yeah, it was a lot.
Sounds like quite the mixture of just uncomfortable and spooky stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. What was your favorite of the shorts? Or of the shorts.
I think that my favorite of the shorts was probably that last one. It was October 31st, 1998 is what the short was called. And it was the one where the guys are just like walking around this haunted house. And like, because none of them are terrible dudes. They're just just kind of like fratty, sort of hanging out, wanting to party. And then they find like a horrible ritual going on upstairs.
And they try to help.
her.
They do the right thing.
What would you do in that situation? Let's say the four of us
do the right thing.
are like that's the situation. Is like the four of us think we're going to a party, and we get there and there's no one in the house. Would you even go into the house?
I would
the
not
first
go
place?
in the house.
They, for some reason, go in there and they're like, Justin, where you at, Justin?
No, I'm
We're at a
sitting-
party.
I'm always sitting outside of whoever's house, texting them saying, "Can I come in yet?" Or
I will usually do if for some reason I'm not often coming over to someone's house, I will probably text them, say like, "Hey, I'm here," just to make sure I'm even at the right place.
Yeah.
I
but
checked the address like 6 times.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then I'll wait. and then if no one responds to me, I'm gonna probably call them. I'm not.
You have to
I'm
come
probably
out
not
and get
walking
me.
right up to the house.
No,
I'm not.
I'm certainly
I mean,
not
there's just so many
making my
people who would
way
just.
in.
There's people who just shoot you for knocking on their door.
That's a real thing. Lots of people have guns.
Yeah.
I would do that.
What was your favorite, Rachel?
I liked the special effects at the end of that one were really cool with the hands grabbing
Yes.
at people. That one was cool, but the vampire one at the beginning was a really good note to start on. The characters were really weird. The special effects were cool. It was gory.
Surprise,
I
surprise.
like vampires.
They
Vampire
made-
girl likes the vampire
I
one.
know that should not be surprising. I have more vampire stuff to talk about.
That one was popular enough that they made a spin-off movie of it.
I have.
There
I
are.
heard there was a bunch
hold on
of
a
them.
sec. There was
and
a bunch
some of them
them.
are good, and some of them are not. I've heard that also.
Let me. Because I looked it up. I was just kind of like, I'm like, I think they made like a sequel to this. They've made
Well, they did
several.
make several
It's a cool
sequels, yeah.
concept.
Severals. There. Let's see here. Let me go to.
Yeah, I like that idea of it being little,
and like each one is done by a
shorts.
different director.
Yeah.
Which I didn't realize at the beginning, but I was like, I could totally see that.
Yeah, these have like an analog horror thing to them where it's like extra creepy because it's not clean digital. It's like gross VHS type
Yeah.
shit. Similar to the Ethan Hawke movie Sinister.
Ooh, Sinister's
We
That
cool.
almost
movie's
watched
fucking
that,
creepy.
actually.
The creepiest part of that movie is the horrific scenes of like full families dying, and
Yes.
it's like on like 8
Yikes.
millimeter, and it's creepy as fuck.
Gross.
The rest of the movie is fine.
I don't maybe want to watch that.
Yeah, Sinister's cool
It's
for
very
that.
haunting. It's haunting in a similar way.
There are 4 sequels, 3 prequels, 2
That's
individual
crazy.
spin-off films, and a miniseries
Good
That's a
grief.
lot.
on Snapchat's Snap Originals platform.
Ew.
Gross.
Never mind.
That's so
Canceled.
random.
Canceled.
Cancel.
But it's probably just really cheap to produce these movies.
Oh, yeah,
Imagine
for
they're,
sure.
like, dirt.
Yeah.
Film it on your phone.
Yeah, there was
Filmed on
a moment.
Snapchat.
It was in the the one with the glitch killer that there was an there was actual like the blood effect that came out of her head was like one that I've seen in like
that's
low
funny.
budget
Yeah.
YouTube. It's like a stock blood spray.
That's
I've
funny.
actually
That's
seen
awesome.
that.
I love that, actually.
It's a
just like a moment
tradesman
I could
right there.
I could see it through the film grain.
Does that take you out of it?
A little bit, but the thing is, like, I already know kind of too much about
Yeah.
how the slop is made, so a little bit of everything kind of takes it out.
Do
but
door noises take you out?
sometimes certain things will do it.
It's like I know that fucking
think
stock
we've-
door noise.
I think we've brought it up before, or at least I've talked about it in private. But like the boys, Kimiko's, it looks like everything that she says sounds like it's been redubbed, and so
Yeah, in the new season.
yeah.
Yeah.
Allegedly,
weird.
she maybe had an accent that she originally had when they did the recordings,
Oh, really?
and she went back. They went back and redubbed it.
What? Why?
Allegedly,
Like
just
fucking
because
Hercules.
I think they went back and they watched the first season and they were like, oh, her brother didn't have an accent,
as if that would matter.
or like maybe they were trying it because she was like living in like a different region when she got her voice kind of back for the most part. I don't know.
Weird.
That whole part of that show
But
is
yeah,
a little strange.
It sounds like everything that she says. It just sounds like she is such a perfect like voice act, like a dub, like animation type voice actor. And I'm like, it sounds like she has a voice that doesn't fit her face. Every
you
time
could
I
be
see,
racist.
I could be.
Could be racist.
I just don't know. It sounds too like the audio. I think
No,
it's the
but
audio.
no, yeah, it's very clean.
It's very
like
clean.
super, super clean. It's
Super
really
clean.
weird. What would you rate VHS?
I'd probably give it a 6.5. It was good in terms of like
Okay.
it did what it wanted.
It was effective.
It was effective.
effective,
but I
scary
don't.
movie.
And I think that it did more in terms of what it was what it was aiming for than it did bad.
yeah.
But it's still like it was a lot.
If you're asking my technical opinion, I would agree it was a 6. If you're asking my like opinion about if I liked it or not, I was like pissed off or like cringing the whole time. So like I don't want to watch another
Yeah,
one.
no, it was a lot.
And I was rooting for most of them end to die, and I
Yeah.
don't think those are like compelling characters. But that's not always what horror is trying to do.
I
So,
think sometimes it is.
It was
Sometimes
effective.
it tries
It
to
was
give you a
effective.
piece of shit person, and so you feel okay with them dying.
Satisfying when
yes,
they
it
get
is
Yeah.
satisfying when they die. Which like, is
Brutalized.
fun.
But it's like satisfying in like the worst kind of because you're
Yeah.
like everything
It's a
that
very
leads up before
base-
it. You're sitting there and you're
base
like,
reaction.
there
I
was a
don't like
point,
it.
and also the
I like to
motion
think I'm a higher
sickness.
being than
There was
that.
like at the very beginning, there's a lot of like moving the camera
Shaky
around
cam.
and
It was.
cutting
It
and-
could have given me nausea.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
So, but other than that, pretty okay.
Wait, what did you rate it?
I had two different ones. I would say the one that was higher was the technical score.
Yeah.
And then I did not like the people. So 5 out of 5 for me personally.
5 out of 10.
5 out of 10. That's
5
what I
out of
meant.
5.
6 out of 10.
5 out of 5.
No.
Perfect movie.
I
That's
guess
not
it
what
was
I meant.
just a perfect
It was
movie.
not perfect. I did not like
A little
that much.
something for everyone.
Half.
Got a little something for everybody. Me and Nikki watched a movie
What is that?
called. Okay, hold on.
34
Wait.
award-winning, 34 awards.
That's high praise.
34
okay.
awards.
Yeah,
Featuring-
it has actors such as Stanley Tucci,
Okay.
I love
Donald
him.
Sutherland,
Okay.
Toby Jones.
Is it new?
It's got Lenny Kravitz in it.
Hell
Lenny-
yeah.
It's got Woody Harrelson.
Woody
Wow,
Harrelson.
That's a stacked cast.
It's got Jennifer Lawrence.
American Hustle.
It's got Josh Hutcherson.
Josh Hutcherson.
I don't know.
It's got Liam Hemsworth.
Liam Hemsworth.
Any guesses there?
I have no idea.
What
I
the hell movie?
I didn't
Cabin in the
read it.
Woods?
We watched
No.
The Hunger Games.
Oh.
Liam Hemsworth. I'm thinking Chris. Never mind. Let's restart that. Take this
2012
bit.
restart.
The Hunger Games.
2012
Post-apocalyptic.
post-apocalyptic
YA.
Dystopian.
Dystopian, yeah. It is
Hit.
dystopian.
YA dystopian.
based off of the book by Suzanne Collins.
Yeah.
The Hunger Games.
Right.
Yeah, I was surprised. I kind of forgot. I probably the last time I saw this movie was 2012. So I was surprised by the amount of blood and gore in this
Yeah.
PG-13 movie. I didn't even know you could do
I
that in
mean,
PG-13.
You get 22 dead kids.
It's a gory
Crazy.
premise.
It is a gory premise. I think that's fine for young adults and teens. I think that's fine for them to see. But it just shocked me a little bit. Like, you see a little girl get fucking stabbed with a spear and then see her pull it out and you see the blood on the spear and on her. I'm like, whoa, good Lord.
Yeah.
She's like 12 years old.
Shit's heavy. Kind of forgot about that.
Yeah, and there were some things that I remember because I read the book and then I watched the movie, and there's some things that are even left out of the book that
The
are
book is gnarly.
The book, like, they talk about Katniss pissing at one point, and they're
It's
like, her piss was
reality.
dark
It's
brown,
survival.
and I'm like, she's like severely dehydrated. And I'm just like,
I
imagine
remember
if
that.
they showed that.
I remember that. I know
Imagine
what
they
you're
show
talking
like dark brown piss on TV.
Josiah in the theater hoping so bad
I'm like,
they
where
showed the
is it?
dark
Where is
brown
it? Where is
piss.
it?
Can't wait to see your piss. Gross. No, but it's a gory premise, and like shielding kids from violence is not reality. Like, kids grow up getting shot at school, so like
That's true.
it's the reality that we're living in, and it is an allegory about America. So
True.
there wasn't there like a UFC fight at the White House. We're living in the Hunger Games right now.
We are living it. But yeah,
What district do you think we live in?
that we live in?
Yeah, in our
Probably like
anonymous.
9 or 10.
Yeah,
We're out there. We're not
I
that
think
out there.
I think so.
I sort of enjoyed watching it. I mostly enjoyed watching it. I was kind of
There
surprised how
was-
long it took to get to the Hunger Games.
Yeah,
But there's a lot to
there's
set
a lot
up.
of build up so
Yeah.
that you feel something for the characters and understand like why she chooses to volunteer and everything, and you get a little bit of insight into her background and their backgrounds and kind of what's going on. But I think it holds up for the most part. There was some nostalgia for me for sure. 'Cause
Yeah.
this was one where like everyone in my class read it.
Yeah.
We all were passing around the same book, and when it came out in the theater, it was hype. It was big hype.
There's some shitty CGI and
Yes.
shaky cam to the extreme. I think to
Yes.
try to hide some of that blood and gore shit, but it just makes you a little seasick instead. They go hard with that. And they do that weird fucking thing where they do slow-mo but with like low frames per second.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm talking about? This is like the newest movie I've ever seen do that, where they like go slow-mo, but it's like they didn't have like they weren't shooting with like high frame
They
rate
weren't
or
shooting with
something.
a slow-mo camera
Yeah.
they did in post.
Are you
Just
talking
slowing
about
down.
when she's hallucinating?
No, I'm
after the
talking
tractor
I'm
trackers?
talking about Joey, it's supposed to look like that. It's supposed to look like that.
Joey's supposed to look like that.
When she shoots the apple, there's like the slow-mo of the apple, not the first apple, but the second apple, the bag of
The
apples.
exploder
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah, it like slows down.
Oh,
And it
yeah,
looks not great.
That was weird. So there are parts of it that are like, oh, this is a film from 2012.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fun. I think we're gonna watch all of them in slow prep for the new one coming out this fall and live the nostalgia dream.
Yeah.
It felt good to watch it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I feel like in this first one they don't give Katniss a lot of like allies that make it sad when they die, which feels like it would be like a staple of like it's something where people are dying a lot. It's like you pack it with people who you care about dying, and like 95% of the people who die, you're like, oh, okay,
All right.
one less person, one less thing.
I feel like that also is a comment on like the nature of the Hunger Games, though.
Yeah,
You know.
because it's that you
Somebody's
you
gotta.
go into it
Yeah.
knowing probably you aren't gonna live, and no one else but one person
Right.
is supposed to live.
Don't get
So
attached.
yeah, but I also think that makes the sequels more impactful when
Yeah.
she does develop relationships with other gamers.
Gamers, Hunger Gamers.
God.
I was also kind of surprised by how serious like the movie took itself like the entire time. Like it doesn't like it's not jokey except for like Haymitch is like the one like comedic relief.
Kind of. He's
And
just-
even then, he's not like,
he's just
it's
drunk.
mostly, it's like written off.
He like puts his foot on
Oh, yeah.
PETA and stuff.
You know what?
He's played for laughs at the start,
Yeah.
and then he like gets more serious as he sees how serious these two.
That is one thing I could have
So
done
bad.
without is seeing a middle-aged man's whole naked foot on Josh Hutcherson's chest.
You don't like it? Not a foot girl? That's okay.
No.
I've talked enough about feet.
You have?
We can talk about this off mic.
This is not feet corner.
Nikki, what did you rate the Hunger Games?
I gave it a 7 out of 10. It's pretty good.
High praise.
More nostalgia than anything else. Obviously, the book is better.
Obviously.
Sure. I gave it a 3 out of 5. I could be convinced to give it a 3.5, but
I'm not gonna
after a
convince
lengthy
you.
debate, yeah. Maybe after a lengthy debate.
Maybe after we watch the others,
Yeah.
that'll change what our
Maybe.
rating of
I don't
this
think
one
I've
was.
ever seen the third or fourth movie.
I only saw a few.
I haven't seen any of them.
That series like super ran out of steam before it finished. That whole like genre ran out of steam.
Yeah.
The last what is that other YA dystopian
Maze Runner.
Maze Runner. That last movie wasn't
I
even
was gonna say
theatrical.
Divergent.
Divergent was the other one. I was about to say. That's what I was going
only
to
read
say.
the Hunger Games.
That's
out
because
of those
all
three.
of those came out at the same time, and it was like
oversaturation.
Well, and the books were like they were all big books, I
Yeah.
would say,
For sure.
But the movies, unfortunately,
preparing
couldn't
us
capitalize the
for the
time
time
it was
we're in.
over. I didn't even finish the second Hunger Games book. I
Oh,
got
really?
halfway through, and I understand the situation Katniss is in the second one. I understand.
I get it.
I fully understand. But God, does she spend the first half just crying and just like, oh,
God forbid.
I have money. Everyone's weird. I gotta marry someone I don't want to marry. And I'm like, dude, you're in a nightmare world. Just fucking let's just push it down and truck on.
you have to
It's a
remember-
survival. She's been surviving. She's been in survival mode the whole time, and then all of a sudden, it's like you just can't keep it up.
So unsympathetic.
That's what happens when you get rich.
Hey man, I don't know. And then I couldn't even get to the next Hunger Games, like the actual start of the competition because
The third quarter quell.
Yeah, I could not. I stopped. I was like, all right, this is wearing on me.
I read all the books. I think I only saw the first two movies.
I know I've seen the first 3, I think, but I don't know if I ever saw the 4th.
I was surprised.
Wasn't it
the-
split into 2 movies?
Yeah, that was
Classically.
that was the era
I
of
hate
splitting.
that. That's
What was the
so
first one to
last
do that?
movie.
Harry Potter, or
I
was
think Harry
it
Potter
Twilight?
did it first, and then
Lord of
others followed suit.
Yeah, I know that Twilight was up there. I think it was Harry Potter, then Twilight, and then everything else.
Yeah, and now movies avoid that.
Except
like
for
the
Mission
plague.
Impossible.
Well, no, Mission Impossible changed the title of the last movie.
Yep.
Oh,
It was
That's
originally Dead Reckoning Part 1 and 2, and then they changed the last one to Final Reckoning.
oh,
stupid.
good.
And it was originally
So it's part 1 and then not part 2.
no, they changed it before the first one came out.
Oh,
so the first one
okay.
isn't called Part 1. They did the same thing with the Avengers. It was originally Infinity War Part 1 and Part 2, and they changed it.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Part 2s are fucking annoying.
Yeah, yeah. True.
Anyway.
True.
Any other movies?
I did sort of a heroic endeavor.
Okay.
Oh.
Spent all yesterday doing this.
Okay.
So there's the 5th Jackass movie's coming out this
Oh,
year.
God. Jesus
And
Christ.
so
Are you okay?
watched all 4 other Jackass movies and I watched the 0.5s.
Oh my
that go
God!
along
What's wrong with? How long did that take?
The movies are each about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
That's so long.
And most of the 0.5s are an hour or an hour and a half. So if let's say it's an hour and a half each, that is, let's see here, 6 hours of movie, and then 4.5 of 0.5s because there's only 3 of those.
So at least like
So 10 and a half hours.
10
So,
or
like,
11
Little,
hours.
maybe at most.
So like half an hour in, you weren't like, I get it. Okay, I get it.
I wanted to see them all. Hey, listen. We
What?
talked about WWE last time.
What inherent
You know I
value
like
are you about to
WWE.
pull?
I also
such a
like
boy.
Jackass to a certain extent.
Thank you
So
for not making
I'm not
me
going to
watch
spend
them.
talking about all of them, but I'm going to give a synopsis of what I believe they each like where they stand towards each other. So I will say Jackass 1 has some high highs, but also some low lows. I think that most of the BAM stuff in that is like, it makes me in the 4th one remember, I'm like, you know what? Actually, it doesn't really need him. Because that one, there was just a point where his father's in the restroom and he just walks in, starts punching the shit out of him, rips his shirt off, and then runs out. That's the bit. And I was like, all right. All right. And so they have some of those things. I would say that, it's probably the worst of them just because it's just the first one. But I can understand if you had watched only that, like none of the others had come out, why it spawned others, because no one was doing that. Mm-hmm. And so it feels like a high budget YouTube compilation almost, because it's after each stunt it will then sort of fade and then fade back into the next one, and it just fades off and then fades in. Let's see here. but it had some funny bits.
Yeah, they don't bother wrapping that shit in a story, right?
Assuming they get but some of it is I'm okay with a lot of it, because I feel as though I can kind of shut my brain down a little bit and say they got permission to do some of these things, like that, like or they hopefully compensated the people for it. So one of the first things they do in that movie is they go rent a car, and then they go to a derby. They trick it out and they do a demolition derby with rental cars. And then it shows him delivering the rental car back to them and saying, like, I'm not paying for this. And then he runs away. So I'm assuming, hopefully, he did actually end up paying for it.
Yeah, surely.
So that's the only thing that I sit there and I just go, all right, don't think about it too much. Just let that go. Jackass 2, I feel like it had the best stunts, had the best setups. But I would say that's probably the best Jackass movie. But it also, with it being the best, also has probably the most offensive bit that any of them have, which is they take the Aaron McGeehee, Danger Aaron, and they dress him up like what we would assume a Middle Eastern terrorist would be.
Okay.
Oh, no.
And they put a bomb around him, and they get him in a taxi cab, and he's gonna go and the prank is that he is supposed to be making anonymous, like, sketchy little threats in this taxi cab on the way to the airport.
On the way to the airport.
Yes,
Oh my
and
God.
so
When did that one come out?
I don't.
That's a very important question.
Someone pull that up while I spit.
That was Jackass
2.
2.
Yeah, Jackass 2. So while that happens, there's a prank behind it where the joke is on him, because what they do is the driver is 2006 is a paid actor. And so Aaron thinks that he's doing the bit, but actually the bit's being played on him. So one thing they do is the actor, they're like, you can, like, punch him around, slap him. After a certain bit, you're going to pull the car over, you're going to hold him at gunpoint, and you're going to throw him in the trunk, and you're going to drive around, and we're going to kind of make it seem like you killed people around here and drove off with him. And so it's an elaborate prank on him.
Jesus.
They also shaved their pubes, and they use that for his fake beard.
Ew.
Okay.
Oh my God.
And so that
grosses
it
me
has
out.
it has the most offensive possible skit, like, little prank that they do, but also it's the best prank played on him for how elaborate and all of it was. So it's pretty gnarly. It's pretty bad, but also you, like, I don't know. It's one of those things where you just kind of like, all right, it's that happened in 2006. That was 20 years ago,
And you condone it.
and I don't necessarily condone it, but
Yikes.
happened to be
You strapped in for
happened to
it.
be good. It happened to be good entertainment. I don't think.
And you saw
is-
that, and you're like, all right, 4 more.
No, 2 more.
What about the
That was
point
Jackass
fives?
2. Oh, so the point fives. That's where it starts. Jackass.
Yeah, so there's 4
with-
more, right?
With point 5. Yeah, 5 more.
5 more. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
And then point 5 is like behind this. They realize they go, well, we actually have another movie's worth of stuff.
So much B-roll.
And so
That's-
B-roll. And I would say that they do a little bit behind the scenes interview stuff, but it's mostly just extra material. So for point 2, Jackass 3, I think this is the People's Jackass. I think
So
it
it's
has,
called?
No, that's what I say.
Okay.
It's called Jackass 3D.
Okay.
Because it was in
of
3D.
course.
It has everything.
I think I remember my brother
and it does
going to see
everything
that.
pretty well, and it's probably the most palatable of all of them. It's still like absurdly gross, but it's probably the most like consumer friendly. And I would say that also has probably that is the best 0.5 is Jackass 3.5 because that not only had some good footage, but also had a lot of more interviews, a lot more discussion, a lot more sort of analysis of what they were doing.
It's not just worse parts of the same.
No, I feel
stunt.
as though they had the better of the B footage of the stuff they didn't shot, but also it could kind of talk about that. They go, well, this was a failed stunt because we just couldn't make it work, and it shows them like attempting it over and over and over again. There was one bit
Interesting.
where one of the actors, stuntman Dave England, he has this alternate personality whenever he gets super drunk. And he becomes a horrible, horrible human being, essentially. He's like such a piece of shit.
Okay.
And they punish him for this behavior by making him do this stunt over and over and over again that they know won't work. It's essentially you're on the back of a horse and you have a parachute. And you're going to throw the parachute and you're going to try to jump off the horse.
Sounds fun.
And catch some air. It fails every time. And they make him do it over and over and over
Sounds like a
again.
good way
I
to
feel
get
bad
He
for
does
the
like
horse.
Yeah.
8 or 9 times.
I
They
feel
make
bad
him
for
Horse
try
probably
it.
had fun.
The horse was fine with it. I think.
Probably had.
I think the horse
With an
consented.
angry drunk man? I don't. Okay.
He wasn't drunk at that time. It was after, as the day after.
Okay.
But and then Jackass 4,
Well, some people say that was the best D&D as well. 3.5.
3.5. That's what they say. And then 4 is they're starting to pass it on to the new blood. They get a bunch of other people in there, and I think they're fun. I think it almost was more of like a farewell to the cast, the old cast, as opposed to the new stuff. There was
Yeah.
still like there was a lot of group stuff. A lot of if there was one of the new guys involved, probably there was going to be another of the older guys involved in it
That makes
too.
sense.
So there was a couple individual stunts with just the new guys, but for the most part, I think they just wanted to show off, like get like, okay, hey, even though we're 50 years old, we still got it,
still
sort of
got
thing.
it.
Is
Or
that
like,
the one where the dude jumps into a cactus?
yeah,
Oh, God.
Zach Holmes. So he did that on his own. Like he had his own YouTube channel. Jackass is
That was
what they
just
would
for fun.
refer to it as. He
No
he did his
directors
own
needed.
stunt stuff, and they were like, this guy's awesome. Let's bring him in.
That is so horrible.
And so there was a couple of them that they brought in like that. And
God,
then
so cute.
and then 4.5, it was okay. But so I would say of the Jackass movies, 2 was probably the best in terms of execution of what they were doing, and of it felt like they had a lot more vision to it. And then 3.5 was probably the best analysis and overview of everything they did.
Well, Josiah, I'm so glad that you were able to really clock out yesterday and just.
I did all of that while rearranging my living room,
No,
and
that's a nice
I
thing.
did all that for you, so you don't have to do it. You don't ever
I
have
wish
to
I
watch
would have
those.
prepared like some kind of. Which movie do they shoot the guy in the porta potty kind of game?
The third one,
See, that's a fun game.
Steve-O.
So
That's a fun game.
Yeah,
They-
we go to trivia and
Yeah.
they.
How
there's
many
something-
times do they put stuff up their butt?
A lot.
Yeah, that one.
Every
is
movie they put
Drink
stuff up their
every
butt.
time.
The most famous thing they put up their butt, I feel, is in the first movie when they put a race car up Ryan Dunn's butt and they send him to a doctor to get X-rays. And he just goes in there and he's like, "Hey, I was at this frat party last night and I got super drunk and I passed out. I might have been drugged. I don't know, but something's wrong downstairs." And does like the X-ray, and that guy is like. He's like, "There's a car up your ass." And he goes, "Why'd you put that up?" And he goes, "Like, I didn't put it up there." He's like, "I was drinking last night, and I think." And then he's like, "You don't tell anybody about this. Don't tell.
the doctor said?
Don't tell your girlfriend.
What?
Don't tell your boyfriend. Don't tell anybody.
What the hell?
Just go to the doctors and get this removed. And they point to the camera and he goes, that guy knowing right there, that's too many. Too many people know. You just go to the doctor right now.
I don't know. Those movies are like my worst nightmare.
Yeah, it's
unpleasant.
I think it's the lowest form of entertainment because all they do, like, it's just
It's brain rot.
Yeah, I would say. But
Encourages bad
I feel as
behavior.
though it's unique because nobody else, even at the time, was doing it. And sure, people are doing it on YouTube. You can
they're all
watch
doing
almost
drugs.
anyone doing it on YouTube.
Not
yeah.
Johnny Knoxville's sober, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, the third movie, they were all getting sober.
Really?
And then I
That's
think
a
that,
nice, like,
that was a theme.
character arc.
And then they wouldn't bring Bam back in the fourth one because he wouldn't sober up. Like, they all had been years sober at this point. I think there's a comment in 3.5 Steve-O makes. He does this stunt that they didn't air in the movie. They just put it in the behind the scenes of him. He has to walk across this platform while they have hot coals underneath of it. And they're also, like, kind of pushing fiery medicine balls at him. And he falls, lands in the fire, and he gets horrible burns on the side of his body. And they're in the ambulance, and they're talking about, like, hey, how much pain are you in? And he goes, well, a normal person would ask for a painkiller at this time, but I can't. And it's just because I think he'd been sober, like, 2 years at that point.
So what would you rate overall?
Overall? All of them, like it's as a viewing
Like
experience.
The Jackass franchise, period.
The Jackass franchise, I would say it's probably. I'd probably give it like a 6. I would
Okay.
say that, like,
Jesus Christ.
I find that there's entertainment in it, and there's sometimes I want to go back and watch some things because it just seems like guys hanging out is kind of the thing. I enjoy that it kind of has a more lax nature to it, even though there's eventually gets more money put into it. It still has some, guys just hanging out, fucking with each other. I think there are some very absurd things, like I mentioned earlier with Bam, like just randomly like going up and like beating the shit out of his. But like, there's just some funny shit that you would never see anywhere else. They would cut in some clips of a guy walking around with an electric razor, and they would occasionally like get behind someone, they'd shave a patch out of their head.
That's horrible. That's horrible.
horrible.
And so like they would like shit like that. Like you just don't like. I mean,
It's like
no one in a movie is going unless they're doing like a scene where they
Yeah,
shave
good.
their head. It's just you don't really see that. And also you can't do that in real life to your friends because that just you don't have friends that way. There's like a circle, a safety circle that says, hey, we're doing this, we're fucking with each other.
We're fucking assholes.
This
just
is
feels
what it
like
does.
assault porn.
Yeah.
Kind of, I guess, to a certain extent.
There's a time and a place, I guess.
Yeah.
Did you rate each of them?
I mean, but beyond what I just said
Okay.
earlier, a brief sort of summary of
What
each
would
of
you
them.
rate Resident Evil 7?
The video game?
Yeah.
Did I not rate it last time? 8 out of 10.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, call back.
Anything else on Jackass?
Nope.
Got a good segue for your
That
next
was a
movie
ride.
based off of Jackass?
This is going to be a really, really sharp turn because I watched a bunch of documentaries.
That is a
and
sharp turn.
sharp
We're going. Well,
turn.
Jackass
Those are
is
kind
kind
of
of shot like a
documentaries.
documentary.
Yeah, I guess it is documentary-esque.
Okay. I watched one like normal movie length documentary, and then I watched a bunch of documentary shows.
Okay.
So I'll start with the documentary movie.
Docu-series?
Yes, I watched a few docu-series. But I watched Noah Kahan's Out of Body, the documentary about like his early career and his own personal growth and stuff. And it was really good. It was a good primer for his new album that came out. He looks just like a friend of ours, so that kind of took me out of it sometimes.
Jarring.
It was a little like, wow, how did he get there? But no.
What is it about?
It's about his life in Maine, I believe, and like how he put like all of his own personal issues into his music, and how it took him forever to actually like have success, and now he's like selling out stadiums and stuff. He talks a little bit about his like body image issues, and I appreciated that from a man's perspective. He talks about like eating disorder stuff, and he also does a lot of like fundraising for mental health support, which I think is really cool. So it was more about like his larger mission and what he like wants to do with his music. But yeah, it was sort of about the pressure to make a new album, but I knew the album was coming out, so it was exciting to see the struggle when I knew he had already overcome it. But it was really good. It was really nice. He seems like a good guy, and the music is great. So
Rate it.
I'll give that like an 8 out of 10. It was a good watch.
Wow.
It was a good watch. You really root for him. It made me cry at one point. It was good. It was compelling. He's
Nice.
like he has a bunch of siblings, and like I was like, whoa.
I'm glad you took this in a wholesome direction.
It was. I'm really glad that we went there.
We're back on track.
Yes, back on track.
Noah Kahan is kind of the 180 flip
Yes.
Of Johnny Knoxville.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other side of boyhood.
I had to stop watching the Johnny Knoxville last meal, the Good Mythical.
Oh, I couldn't
morning
watch
show.
that.
I had
I
to
love
stop
that
watching
show.
it because he just kind of
I
it
couldn't
just
watch
felt
it.
like he kept like. This guy was trying to be very sincere and like talked about things, and he was very almost kind of dismissive
No, for
and or
real.
like he's like, what are you talking about this for? Let's just eat. Like, what are you doing?
Okay,
And
so
people
yeah.
who go on that show and are like, "What are you talking about death?" It's like, did you not read what the show is
Right.
about? Like, it's a show about death. I think that's lame when people are not willing to talk about heavy
Yeah.
shit. Like, I get that you're like a funny guy, but like, it's got to be dark in there somewhere, right?
It can be
Anyway.
multifaceted.
Anyway, that's what I appreciated about the Noah Khan documentary.
And he had a last meal too.
Yes, he did. His last meal was really good. That was like actually my introduction, other than like the songs that I hear occasionally on Instagram. But yeah, watch the Noah Khan documentary. His new album is really good. I'll talk about that later. The rest of my documentaries are going to be really different. Where do we want to go? Do we want to go real weird religious cult or like booze, sex?
Cult.
Okay, I watched them out of order, but I'm going to talk about them in chronological order. So it's about like a weird sect of Mormonism that are really focused on polygamy, and plural marriage is a lot. Yeah, so I watched Keep Sweet, Pray, and Obey first. It was, that's the one that is first in chronological order. And it's about this guy who is the son of someone who was like, God spoke to me, and like created a cult around himself and then like handed it down to his son, who was like, God spoke to me because of my dad. Because apparently that makes sense.
Well, yeah. That's
It's genetic.
yeah, it's genetic.
He wasn't even the
much
oldest
like other,
also, which I was like, there's no logic to any
psychological
of this.
conditions. It's genetic.
But it's just like basically how a one man gets obsessed about having as many wives as possible, as many young wives as possible. Yuck. In a way that like makes him shun every man in the community and like use all of the like gives a bunch of women to like basically a few very close trusted men in a really yucky way that turns into like interstate trafficking of young women, and women end up in like that's a different detail about a different one, JK. But they like make a whole like big compound in it. So they start out somewhere in like Colorado, Utah area, I don't remember exactly where, but they move to Texas and create like a big compound and build a huge temple, and Texans are like, what the fuck is going on in my city? And I appreciate Texans for that. They call the police and they say, that's not right, not in my town.
Hey, we don't endorse this.
No, and like I really appreciated that ending because the Texas state troopers are in the end who get them.
Wow.
And that's, you don't always root for a statey, but in that way you do. If it's between a 13-year-old marrying a 60-something-year-old man, you want them to get intercepted by the police.
Yikes.
Yeah, that's why we on this podcast.
Yep,
Only
yep,
in
yep.
very, very,
That was
very
censored.
rare
Yikes.
circumstances.
Yikes.
If you want to know why we censored that,
You gotta subscribe for that one.
subscribe to our Patreon.
You want the raw truth.
It's
The
I will
real
send-
opinions.
I will send you. I'll put my PayPal here, and if you donate money, I will send you that audio clip.
Yeah. So it was really upsetting, actually. It was a very heavy watch. The women and men in it are very compelling characters, and it shows how brainwashing from birth can really like make you go along with a lot of things that are just patently horrible. And like listen to your gut in all scenarios. If something seems fucked up, it probably is. Yeah. It was a very effective documentary. The storytelling was very compelling. The music was kind of unsettling.
And this is all based on real stuff.
Real life stuff. The people who were involved were the ones interviewed. That
Nice.
I
I love that.
appreciated. You could tell that the interviewers really like built rapport with the people, because this is hard shit to talk about. Being married at 14 and like raped on your wedding night is heavy shit to talk
right.
about. Yeah, so heavy shit that doesn't come lightly, and it like also talked to like the children of the people who were born into the cult, so it was like generations of creepy yuckiness. So it was a really good documentary. I would rate that one probably like 8 out of 10, 8.5 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah, it was shocking in a way that I believe. And that leads me into another yucky one about a fundamentalist sect of the Mormon religion that is also obsessed with plural marriage. This guy in like New Mexico, I think, was part of the previous cult, or like was connected to the previous one in some way, and was like, that's a cool idea. I talk to God too. And starts collecting women in a small town where there's a few other Mormons.
Hey, we can copy and paste.
And literally it's just like one man who gets this idea and a few other men who are in his circle and are just like, yeah, I believe that. I'm going to tithe all of my money to you and you can have my children. Then that just happens. And it just multiplies.
Don't you just find it weird that about
It's
like, you know,
crazy.
2,000, 3,000 years ago, people were always talking to God and no one cared. But now you say you talk to God and all of a sudden you're a crazy person. Like, isn't that
as
isn't
long
that
as you
weird?
don't try to marry underage women, you're not a criminal. Like, you believe whatever you want, you know, whatever experiences you think you had, you're entitled to that. But like, as soon as you start making other people's problem,
right.
God talked to me.
What did he tell you?
What did
He told me to make a podcast. This is his divine.
He told you to make this
is
one?
my divine right. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the laptop is gold, and so are our microphones, and we got them from the ground.
Yep. From our backyard. Yeah.
Yep. I can only look at this laptop, and if anyone dares look at it, you can't
turns
see
into
what
a
I'm
pillar of
trying to
salt.
look at. Yeah.
No, I really poke fun at fundamentalist Mormon religions, but
Exclusively.
Yes, I know that not all Mormons are like that. I know Mormons in real life, and like that's why I'm curious about it. But this is scary stuff, and I know that there's more nuance in religion than that. But you know, if your religion tells you that only one man has the right answer, that's not the right answer. And get out of there as soon as possible. Your religion should encourage you to question things. It should give you like parameters and help you sink your beliefs into something a little bit more meaningful. But if one man or any person tells you they have all the answers, they're just trying to sell you something or get you into a situation that you can't get out of.
Trying to get you to be a child bride.
Yeah.
good
So
stuff.
it was really yucky, and that is a dark side of religious freedom in America. But I have more fun American stuff to talk about, sort of. There's one that's fun, and then there's one that's not.
What did you rate that one?
That one, there was a main character that was like telling the story that was really compelling, and they showed like how they built relationships as a documentary film team, and they just basically had to lie to these people to get access to them, and then had to like turn on them basically to report them. And so that was like a really intense climax that was very effective. You really rooted for all the characters, and then they have even more backstory as the story goes on. So I would give that like a 9 out of 10. It was really good. I watched it first also, so I think that's why I liked it more.
What would you rate Mormon fundamentalism?
Mormon fundamentalism
marriages.
that's like against people's will, 0 out of 10. If you're an adult and you make it on your own free will, I guess like a 3. If you're born into it, also a 0. I feel bad for you. Religious freedom should be for children as well. And if they get married at 14, that doesn't exist. Anyway, that's my take.
Yeehaw.
Yeah.
That is yeehaw.
Yeah.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw.
Indeed. And
Damn.
shout out to Texans not dealing with that bullshit. I respect that a lot. So I'll talk about one more heavy documentary, and then I promise there's one that's fun. But this one is at least about sex in a more fun way. So I watched Orgasm Inc., the story of OneTaste. And I've listened to a few podcasts about OneTaste, so I know what it is. But for everybody, I'm going to say allegedly a bunch of times just so we don't get sued. But I'm pretty sure there has been some legal matters in all of this.
Okay.
Hey, this is free speech.
And everything in this in this podcast is solely my opinion. And please don't sue us. Whatever disclaimers we need to do. Every mention is alleged, and everything in this podcast is solely hosts' opinions. Should not be taken as legal
For
comment.
entertainment
Purposes only. Yes.
The opinions you hear are done by trained professionals. Do not attempt these at home. Wow, now.
Please let that be it. But Orgasm Inc. is about OneTaste, and OneTaste is like a sex cult that started off as like a mindfulness meditation place that was initially just clit stroking.
Yeehaw.
You would be paired often in men and women, but not exclusively, and the giver would just get one finger, which is and fully clothed. That the receiver would lay down naked.
Well, yeah, you have to have access.
Well, obviously. And they would just do repetitive motions for 15 minutes. And that was the experience. You weren't aiming for anything. If you had an orgasm, great. But like, it was just like supposed to be like be in your body. And it was supposed to be like a present moment for the giver as well.
This, yeah.
And
I hate it again.
And, you know, if it's not for profit, I guess. But it turns into like a pyramid scheme where like you have to have even numbers of women.
You know where we could girl boss really hard?
Well, and then it gets really complicated when they start including men, because if you say you're going to get your dick stroked for 15 minutes, a lot more men show up to the party than women do. Just like if you do a cold ad
girl
on the
boss
newspaper
down.
or something. And like at that point they had employees.
She's been demoted.
Well, at that point they had employees, and they were like, "Oh, your staff, you got to go."
Yeah, we don't have
sex
enough
with that guy.
enough broads here. You got
and it turns into like a cult
too.
where people are like, don't know how much they're being paid. They get promoted and demoted depending on like how well you commit to it. And one of the principles of the philosophy of OneTaste was like doing hard things. So like if you had an aversion to someone, they'd be like, no, that's your body telling you have to work something out with them.
Fuck.
So go fuck them. And that's your boss telling you that.
And
like
just a reminder, folks, this really did happen.
This was real.
This is real.
This happened IRL. Yeah, it was wild. People, I think, got some good sexual healing out of it in some ways. But the leader of the cult, her dad was like a pedophile, and she helped like recruit them.
Oh God!
Yikes!
And she like, I think at one point in one of her like seminar clips that they showed, said something like, yeah, he was only thrown in jail because he like pointed his desire in the wrong direction or something. Like as if it wasn't wrong. It was just like, oh, it was just society. I was like,
it's
no,
just society.
Those are
we
children.
live in a society.
Those
that's
are children.
the problem.
That's a crime.
If we were in the woods doing this, no one would care.
That just feels all too familiar to
and if we were in the
we hear it every day still.
Yeah.
If we were out in the wild, you probably wouldn't have to pay to get your fucking dick wet. Anyway, it was heavy, but it was a wild ride. It shows you again how far brainwashing can take you. Mm-hmm. How far, your check being on the line will make you do things.
All it takes is a hey girl, how you haven't talked to you since high school.
Yeah.
What are you up to?
You want to be your own boss?
And another situation of if your boss tries to like make you stop talking to your family and not have another job and like give up everything on your outside life, that's a cult, not a job. Don't join it. Be
Call
careful.
your dad. You're in a cult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reach for help. Be honest about your experiences. And if you don't want to have sex with someone, don't have sex with them. That's rule number one for everyone. So those are the heavy ones.
What would you rate that one?
That one was fucking wild. It was like absurd. So I would say like 8 out of 10.
Okay.
I would rewatch it. I am going to recommend it to some of my friends. And then I watched another docuseries that's more fun called The Booze, Bets, and Sex That Built America. Everything is a little horny, but this one is the least horrible of them. It's basically about how like alcohol before, during, and after Prohibition ran the U.S. economy, but it has a lot of like American booze stories in it, like Jack Daniels and Anheuser-Busch, or like it shows like the families that built them in a really cool way. The man that invented like normal condoms, I didn't know the history of condoms.
Normal condoms?
Like not pig intestines, like rubber condoms in the modern
latex?
fashion. Yes, that like it shows the start of him
for those allergic.
starting with like pig intestines and like mass producing that, which grossed me out. but it shows how he had to like clandestinely have a market because for a long time contraceptives were illegal to have even if you were married. American
wild.
history is
We all
insane.
shake our heads.
Yes, gotta shake your head collectively. But it was revolutionary for sex workers to have protection. It was a revolutionary for growing families to be able to choose whether or not they had children. And just for like cleanliness and the sake of infection, condoms were revolutionary because everybody used to be dirty and stinky and sick all the time. And, you know, we do what we can in public health, harm reduction. Hell yeah.
It just always amazes me, like small things like that change so much things, especially for women. Like,
mine's not small.
moving on. Like
cut that.
like condoms, how much they just increase like women's quality of life and the freedoms that they can have. And then you have things like the like making that legal and then making divorce legal and things like that, or making like even now that you can get, whenever you do get a divorce, you are legally allowed to have a checking account.
I can
sort
have a
of
credit
things.
card.
So it's like just those things are like, oh, okay, now I feel like a person because I can do things that I don't have to just be in. I can have safe sex with quotations, like safer as now that I'm married, like now I don't like without being married. It's like I have to, if I want someone who won't give me a disease or make me sick, I have to marry one person and pray that they only have sex with me.
That's why basic human rights are so important, because all of these foundational things are grounded in health. So,
Amen. We are public health girlies here.
Yep, me too.
Yes.
Joey's not though.
I am.
And
Prove it.
health.
What the fuck?
He just sat here and the only thing he contributed to that was just talking about it, how his isn't small.
My condoms are not small. I just wanted to
Just wanted to
make
throw it out
it clear.
there.
And then from booze and sex, they also talked about bets, and that led into like the story of Las Vegas being what it is now, which I did not know a lot about, and I thought it was very interesting. It was very informative about American history. I usually don't love American history just because it's not usually that interesting, but they picked really diverse stories. Like I don't remember his name, and we can maybe fact check this and insert it later, but the man who invented condoms was like disabled and he didn't want to work in a factory anymore, and he was like, there's a market here, and it was like a disabled king made it possible for us to have modern condoms.
Great things.
And one of the like main people that was building like the gambling scene in New York was a black woman, and it was like really awesome how she had an empire in an age where that was like not the norm. Most of the stories tried to be as diverse as possible, giving credit where credit is not normally given, stuff like that.
Hell yeah.
It was
That sounds great.
better American history than I'm used to, so I'd give that like 8.5 out of 10. It's a fun watch. It's quite a few episodes. It has a fun narrative. But those were all of the documentary or docu-series that I watched.
Okay, did we watch any other movies?
No, that's it.
Okay. TV shows other than those docuseries. Me and Nikki Watt finished seasons of television shows over the last week.
That's cute. One being The Pitt season 2
Yes.
was excellent. Again, what are we calling these? Medical dramas?
Yeah, we call them that.
Only you
Only
guys.
us exclusively calling them medical
They've
dramas.
coined the term.
Usually I don't care about medical dramas, but I really enjoyed this one a lot. Maybe it's just the like the format of it, like just an hour of the day at a time. I really enjoy that. I like that we see 0% of their home life ever at any point in the show.
This season is taking place on July 4th, the day of July 4th.
Oh, hell yeah.
Notoriously
The
a busy
emergency
day in
room
an
is
American
always
ER.
filled.
Yes.
Yeah, each
So-
season sort of has to have its like hitch of why it's like an important or interesting day in the ER, or why it's a crazy day.
Not only is this July 4th, they also have a cyber attack,
Oh no.
which requires them to go totally analog.
Which is fun, yeah.
Oh, that's
we were just
crazy.
talking about that.
And how
EMPs.
real that is.
No,
if-
that's
if
scary.
you interact with an electronic health record ever,
Yeah.
when it goes down, you die inside. So I can't even imagine being like an ER person and having to
No.
manage that.
Yeah,
So
while dealing with dying people, you have your...
people exploding their hands off.
Literally.
because
Wartime
for,
IT.
for whatever reason, fireworks are allowed.
And I'm glad
people
that they
just hold 'em
you
in
know
their
it's
hands.
and the thing is like I in a hospital, I mean, I haven't watched this, but I'm sure that in a hospital there's probably going to be hopefully some analog things that you can do, but like other fields there, if you don't have electricity, it's done.
It's fun. They bring out like all the analog stuff they have like for backup in the ER, and they like switch to paper charts, and they have to bring like a little X-ray machine down.
Yeah.
Since they can't electronically transfer the X-rays and stuff.
And they have to have like runners going like from from the ER to the lab and then back with the
Messengers.
results, and that all of that hyper realistic
Yeah,
stuff. But
and the-
that's exactly what would happen if
Yeah.
you couldn't just send stuff back and forth to the various departments.
They bring back a racist old lady that retired because she was there during like the height of like the analog
That's
stuff.
so funny.
And she ran a tight ship, despite being problematic at times.
Yeah, it wasn't about her
That's
being
realistic.
problematic, but she just was problematic. It was just a little added bit of flavor
Yes.
for her character, was that she was just a little racist.
But you also get like all of the same characters from season 1, including one of the same patients that does end up passing away, and it's really sad, but you can call it
Yeah.
pretty easily that it's going to happen right
Yeah,
away.
yeah.
As soon as he
yeah.
came in, we were like, oh, he's dead.
You're like, oh,
Oh,
okay.
no.
Yeah.
Yes,
Where is this set?
Pittsburgh.
Oh, okay.
The
that
Pitt.
makes sense. That makes sense.
Well, they also call the ER itself the Pit.
Double meaning.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Double
God.
entendre. I love to
Yep.
hear it.
Of course, lots of really heavy themes throughout. Some good, like what happens to an intern doctor, and then when they become a resident, how like
Yeah.
their responsibilities shift and everything, and what happens when a patient dies due because of an intern was being stupid, because it's a teaching
Right.
hospital
Yeah.
situation. So there's some themes of suicide in this season. A couple of times
Heavy.
it comes up. Death and dying, as always, in a hospital. But they actually show like some real life stuff in the Pit.
Yeah.
You get flashbanged by a fucking birth where they're just showing the baby coming out of the woman. And whoa! Comes out of nowhere.
You don't want to see that?
the
Holy cow.
effects are pretty good, but
Yeah, because I don't think they have that much else to spend money on. They made this one big set of this hospital. It looks good. They do have a bunch of extras, and they have the actors, but there's no soundtrack. There's There's not like digital effects or anything, and not many locations to shoot on. So yeah, I
kind
think
of
a
the
lot of the budget
perfect
goes
show.
to yeah.
Is that
It
not
is kind of
Kind of
the
awesome.
perfect
They
show.
just get to focus on practical effects and
They don't
Yeah.
have music?
No, there's no music.
it's
I
like
feel
you're
like
on shift.
ER
baby.
had music, didn't
ER
it?
did have.
I
yeah,
I
ER
watched
had like
ER.
songs they would play.
It was very soulful music.
There
That's
would
what
be
I remember
montages
from ER.
of like people like crying in closets,
Yeah.
and like you get to see people insert like the
That's why
that
the
was
Pit
a show.
is kind of sick. It's because like you don't have to see all the like bullshit like personal lives of all these people.
that's what I
like you
am
get
here
like
for.
snippets of them talking to each other, but then they always get pulled away because they're in a fucking ER.
Yeah.
So you,
You
get like
do get-
interpersonal conflicts and stuff. But
You do get some good real life depictions of panic attacks and like people finally breaking away to go piss, and then
Yeah.
they're standing there in the bathroom crying because it's like their first, but there's no music.
That's
so
intense.
It is intense. It is intense for sure.
I didn't realize it was like that.
Yeah, but excellent. I rated season 2 9.5 out of 10.
Wow,
Damn.
that's high.
Damn.
yeah, I'd probably give it 4.5 out of 5.
I
There
gave
you go.
season 1 a 9 out of 10.
And you think season 2 is better than season 1?
I think so.
That's probably fair.
I'm always pleasantly surprised whenever I hear that, because that's the way it should be. I think is that
They
it's a
sort of
good show.
hit their stride.
yeah.
And they just then this season they dive deeper into like the PTSD themes and stuff, and I don't know, because the characters, you kind of just get thrown in with them in season
Yeah.
1, and obviously you're learning more about them and their background, and
There's
so-
a couple more fun new characters, and that is sort of the fun thing, is that it is just a day at the ER, so it is like some characters. If some characters are not there, it's like, okay, well, they're just not on shift.
They're just not there. Yeah.
It's just not. They're just not on shift
their day
because
off.
some actors didn't. There were 1 or 2 that didn't come over from season 1, and then they added a few for season 2, and I thought they were
That's
all
also how it
sick
goes in a
additions.
hospital. There's a lot of turnover.
True.
well, and
Yep.
because of the way this show is set up, And they didn't do it like one shift one day and then the next shift the next day. Like this was a time jump.
Yeah.
You get a whole new set of interns
Yes.
for the
Yeah.
second season.
That makes sense.
And they also only stuck around for their 12 hours and then they fucked off. So
Yeah,
the
that was an
last-
interesting thing. It
The
was
last
like,
3 episodes or whatever, they just weren't there.
yeah, and that is another thing. It's like when people are done with their shift, they go home, so they're just not on the rest of the episode. It doesn't happen much, but
Most of them stay. That's why it's 15 episodes and not 12.
Oh, that's
yeah, they kind of have to contrive a reason each season for it to go over by 3 hours, like their shifts to go over by 3 hours, because they're 15 episode seasons, 1 hour an episode, but 12-hour shifts.
And it's great.
I
It's
like it
good.
a lot.
I love that you guys love it. It sounds like you guys really enjoyed it. I don't want to watch it though.
It makes
Why
me want
not?
to watch
Why
it.
not?
I have an anxiety disorder and I'm okay.
Real. That's so
Fair
real.
enough.
I spend enough time in hospitals.
Fair enough.
Oh, I remember what I was going to say was that we watched a few episodes of the Scrubs revival.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Much different
I think
medical
we
Hold on a
definitely-
second. What I'm going to say, my prediction at the moment
Okay.
is that the reason we're talking about it is because you're not going to continue watching it so that's basically the end of the season for you.
Oh, we talk about those?
No.
I didn't know we included those. Okay.
That's not why I brought it up.
Oh,
I brought
okay.
it up because
Damn.
they are both trying to show like modern day medicine and like the weird things with
Yeah.
that. And they both have a plot line about a doctor who is also an influencer. Did you
Oh,
notice that, Nikki?
no.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I hate to hear that.
I think they do it well, like the way it's portrayed in the Pit. She's a very young med student. She's 20, I think.
Yeah.
Because
Oh, wow.
because we get just.
I think she's 21.
She just turned.
She just turned 21, yeah.
And the context that she's doing it is not cringy, and then of course in Scrubs it is.
It is. Well, it's
cringy.
played for laughs.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah.
Yeah.
The Pit is pretty funny, but like not overtly comical. But
Yeah.
the Scrubs revival is okay. We watched like 4 or 5 episodes and we're like,
I
don't
couldn't
know.
stand how crispy it was, like
Crispy?
compared to OG Scrubs. Is,
It was like
Older TV.
early
and then-
2000s,
yeah.
so it was like 4:3,
Oh,
and it
okay,
kind of
like
looked like
visually.
shit.
yeah, and then also
It wasn't
they look
HD.
Like, they look like little babies because they're little babies, and then
Yeah,
they're
the-
much younger.
The new Scrubs
They're
is
clearer
like
and wrinklier.
HD, Ultra HD, 4K.
You can see all the
Watching
work
it
they've
for.
had done.
Yeah, there's a lot of work that's happened.
Oh,
over
that's
the
real.
years. There's some hair dye going on that looks. A
I
little-
went back and watched a few episodes of original Scrubs. That's funny that you guys
It's
mentioned
very
that
funny.
because the
Original
original
Scrubs
Scrubs
is
is
very
great.
comfort show.
The jokes
no,
per minute
the
in
theme
Scrubs
song
is
takes me back
incredible.
in time.
Oh yeah,
I
I played
I'm
it at
no
work the other day.
Superman.
It was in my playlist. And I'm
No,
like,
it's great.
Oh, it's so good.
It's so good.
I think I was just sitting there the other day. I had this realization. I think I just like the banjo, man. I think there was some other songs that came on, and I went, you know what? I think I just like
Hell
the
yeah.
banjo.
What would
Banjo
you rate?
slaps.
What would you rate the banjo?
I'd say the banjo. You know what?
As far as
it's like
instruments go.
I think it's
In the
like
right
it's
hands.
like an 8 out of 10.
Hell yeah.
I think
Okay.
even like context, even if you just use it as like something to kind of sneak in there a little bit, you don't play it like
Sneaky banjo.
like you just kind of like put it in there a little bit. I think that it just adds flavor.
Well, you know what doesn't feature banjos?
Huh?
Invincible season 4.
Banjo list. Invincible season 4, the newest season of Invincible that just finished airing.
Okay.
For real.
For real. I thought it started off kind of weak, and I mentioned that on a previous pod.
Yes.
I said it started arf kind of weak.
Arf.
But I feel like there is a turning point on the Hell episode. It's like the worst rated episode of this entire
enjoyed
series.
it.
I thought it was fine.
Oh, okay. So Invincible is based off of a comic book,
Yeah,
right?
true.
Oh, okay.
And it follows this young chap.
Named
what
Invincible.
is his actual name?
Mark.
His name is Invincible.
His name is Mark.
Mark Grayson.
But his superhero
name.
name.
is
Oh,
Invincible.
okay.
Imagine you know about The Boys, right?
Vaguely, I've not watched it, though.
Okay, well imagine that, but it's comic book
Oh, okay.
based and animated and not as unpleasant. But
There's
still,
no nudity.
And
No,
it's
there's
not
no
like a
nudity.
corporation.
No corporation.
Yeah, it's less. It's less.
More like the Justice League, and
But edgier.
imagine like Superman was
but
like.
it is edgy.
Yeah, it's
Kinda.
not trying to do the thing that the Boys is trying to do of like, what if superheroes were in real life?
Yeah.
It's
And
just
evil.
here's an interesting world with superheroes in it.
Cool.
and it's very good. I like it a lot.
This season had a lot more space. It also
Yes, I
featured
liked all that.
hell and demons.
Yes.
And
I love
the
a
devil.
fictional hell exploration. Fun.
There's a Star Trek parody in the middle of it
Yep.
for
Yep.
no reason. I feel
Joey
like
loved that.
That was bizarre. But watching The Boys and watching Invincible, it's like I just feel kind of done with The Boys.
Yeah.
I feel like it just goes on, and I just don't. I don't really know why. I just don't seem to care about it as much. I think like the gimmick of like superheroes, but they're gory and say bad words and you see dicks all the time. Like, it's kind of run its course. you know?
Yeah.
Just-
Well, and Invincible is totally different because it is a comic book thing.
Yes.
So it could go on forever and
Yeah,
ever because it's comic book.
Yeah, and I don't feel the same thing with Invincible, where I feel like I could just watch a new season of Invincible once a year for a long time, and I'd be happy with that. The story is like pretty different each season. They're usually pretty self-contained. There'll be like a few arcs per season, and there's like obviously like a series-long arc, and there's season-long arcs, and it feels so much fresher each time than The Boys does.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing about you think about it, like comic books, like a certain series of comics books could be around for 50 years.
Right.
They've been making all
That's
these
what
superhero
pisses me
stuff
off
for
about comic
all
books.
of these
Why does it
years,
piss you off?
and then they'll start a new like storyline, like a couple years later or something, and they'll release a new comic book,
Okay.
like an alternate timeline.
Yeah.
And so you think about it, you're like, ideally there could be a show that just keeps going on like
Yeah.
this and maintain the quality that people still, because it's like if a comic book just started doing bad like 3-4 years in, people would just be like, all right, that's done. Like whereas like a bad show can keep going.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Somehow it'll keep going. I mean, you'll think of something like Supernatural, where like Supernatural is good, but
What
then
the
all of a sudden
hell?
it gets like you
My
get
mom
like
just started watching
eight seasons in, and then all of a sudden people will talk about it. Like even fans of the show be like, yeah, it's not very good.
The plot
and you're like,
lines
well, why are you watching it? And they're
get
like,
a
it's
little
because
redundant.
it's my boys. It's my Winchester
My
boys. I gotta
baby.
watch them.
They're both in
Those
The
are my
Boys.
comfort characters. Yeah,
They're
they
both
are.
in The Boys? I
They're
didn't
both in
know
The
that.
Boys.
I don't think the one's character has shown up yet. But
Sam hasn't shown up yet.
yeah, but he's going
Jared
to in this
Padalecki,
season.
but
Oh,
Jensen
love
Ackles
him.
has been in it since.
He
like,
will always
season
be Dean
2 or
from
3.
Gilmore
Season
Girls.
3. I don't know. Who
Yeah,
fucking
season 3, and then
cares?
season 4 he dipped out, and then season 5 is back. Season 3.
Well, I find
But the reason to answer your question, Rachel, the reason why it makes me mad that comic books go on so long is because there's always something that it's could be referencing that you have never read unless you read like there's over 1,000 issues of Superman, and they will reboot it. And I started reading the reboot. I think it was 2023 where they rebooted it. But they still got the storylines from before they rebooted it. So why even reboot? Who gives a fuck? It
All
pissed
of
me off.
storytelling. But I understand what you're saying because that's how I feel about D&D. It's very intimidating to get into, and there's like always more source material that you could get familiar on.
Yeah,
And
that's
people
fair.
who've been doing it for 10 years will always be ahead of you, no matter how much prep you do.
that's why you just gotta be
kinda true.
chill, baby, chill.
I
Just
wish I
have
could
fun
have the
and-
capacity to do that.
I think it's just we gotta do it more.
Vibing.
Gotta have more small sessions instead of just the one big campaign.
Nikki, what are your thoughts on Invincible season 4?
I'm appreciating the what's Dad's name?
Omni-Man.
I'm having name issues today.
Omni-Man.
J.K.
Omni-Man,
Simmons.
voiced by J.K. Simmons, which is awesome.
Yeah,
Every
he's
time
great.
I'm like, man, such a good voice. The thing I don't like about Omni-Man in this season is you see a lot of his feet. And
Yeah, like his
Ankles.
outfit just is
You're not
like
a feet girl.
shoeless.
And
I'm
that's
not
okay.
a feet girl. His feet and ankles look like they're swollen all the time, and I just want him.
Jesus,
I
he's
just
got
feel like
gout.
He
You
needs,
have yucky feet?
I've got
No.
great feet. I don't know what's going on.
But I just every time he's on screen and his whole body's on screen, I'm just thinking in my head, man, this man needs to get in a recliner with his feet elevated, and lay off the
Really?
salt and whatever. Which is totally he's like the superheroist of superheroes. He doesn't have swollen feet. The way it was
Yeah.
drawn is a little weird.
Well, yeah, there is a that's a common complaint of this show is that the animation isn't always fantastic, and a lot of the budget does go into voices.
Yeah.
Because pretty much every character is played by like a famous actor versus like a very good voice actor.
I find it kind
That's
of
fun.
endearing though that it's like it's not the highest quality animation. You know, it just I don't know. It just feels nice.
Speaks to
me.
a bygone era, maybe, of like badly printed.
Exactly.
Whatever you got to tell yourself. I don't know.
I've not watched it myself, so I don't know.
Minus the feet part. The character
feet.
development for Omni-Man this season is pretty good. And we do get some, again, every single season has slayed with a couple of super epic fight scenes that you think are just never going to end.
Yeah.
And just are awesome and horrifying.
Have you
Somebody
standing up
mentioned
and pogging?
pulling intestines out. That happens a couple times in this season.
Yeah.
By the
True.
bad guys, I hope.
I think it goes both ways
Yikes.
this
Yeah,
season,
it does go
actually.
both ways.
Invincible's kind of, from what I've heard,
Heroism is
it's kind of
complex.
Game of Thronesy in terms of like
Yeah.
they might just be killing people.
Yeah, they do just kill people and
Okay.
then name other people after those people.
This is what I mean. That's what I meant earlier when I would say I would use my 40 feet persona with respect and dignity. I wouldn't do shit like that. That's what I mean specifically.
This refers to the conversation.
Callback.
Would you rather be 40 feet tall
an
and 4
inside
inches
joke.
tall?
But there's some cool like interdimensional stuff in this season as well. Like we've lost a couple characters that didn't make it back by the end of
Okay.
the season.
Dude, I
so
completely forgot about that.
I just
the,
remembered,
the episode
so-
after it happened. I was like, it
Bye.
had completely left my mind. And
You're
the
like,
season
they're
finale,
gone.
they bring
They're
it up
not
again.
in
I'm
this
like,
dimension.
who? Oh yeah! Oh shit!
there's
Oh
a
my
lot
God.
of characters.
There
to
is a
keep
lot of
track
Yeah.
so.
That is the thing. They keep adding characters on and more powerful characters and stuff. But I feel like they keep it interesting and fresh.
That's cool.
What's the coolest superpower in it? I love fun superpowers. I think that's like a fun writing task.
Well, I think Adam Eve is really overpowered and doesn't use her powers well.
Adam
That is
Eve.
true. She can basically just manipulate matter to do
Anything.
like whatever. She
Yeah.
can just turn.
Sick.
She can
She can just
create things
make
out of thin air.
things just
Cool.
and she just doesn't. Well, also she kind of loses her powers for a little bit because there is
Everything
this
is
was
a biblical allegory.
the thing that I didn't
um,
like in this season. Pregnancy scare trope thing. Didn't like that, but
She can create matter, but she can't control when she has children. What
well,
the
she
fuck?
becomes spoiler alert. She becomes impregnated, and then her powers get wonky, and it's because she's pregnant.
I'm annoyed already.
Yeah,
Oh,
I didn't
wow.
love that.
That's
Didn't
annoying.
love that.
If she, this is a conversation. I'm like, this
But you know
pisses me
what?
off.
It resolves.
Okay, good. Thank you for
That
telling
baby
me that.
goes bye bye. So it's
Okay.
okay.
Well,
that
and that's a
baby's
note
out of here.
on body autonomy. Okay.
Abortion rights exist in the Invincible world, so why can't we all get on?
Well,
board
we
with
don't
that?
know that. We don't.
Oh,
know
that's
that.
true. Actually,
We don't know if she went to a clinic. She can manipulate matter. Maybe she just.
That's what I'm saying.
Maybe she just made
How
it
can you
disappear.
manipulate matter, but you can't manipulate yourself?
Well, she can't manipulate living. It's it's complicated.
Okay.
it's not explained.
It
Okay.
is explained. It is explained. Nikki wasn't paying attention when they explained it.
My
It was
eyes
explained.
glaze over. Those moments.
I was skimming it. It's okay.
Do recommend though.
What do you rate it?
I gave it a 7.5 out of 10.
Okay.
I probably would have given it an 8.
I think I might give it an 8. I think I might give it a 4 out of 5. Although, yeah, weak start to the season.
Yeah,
I'll
I think
say,
the week start is.
I'll say 3.5 out of 5.
Because I remember when we were watching the first couple episodes, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
man. And then it picked up.
It does not start off strong, and the animation also starts off pretty bad. There's like that episode with the Martian sequids
Oh,
or
God,
whatever.
yeah. That was just
Looked
too much to
really
be
bad.
animating. Yeah,
Yes, for
that
sure.
looked like The Land Before Time.
Yeah. They should have done like
I
some
love the
like,
Land Before Time.
I do too. That's my
Love a good
favorite
tree
movie
star.
of all time.
Really? Oh, that's sweet.
But you know,
they should have skipped
Yep,
that
yep,
fight or done it in some different
I don't
way.
know. It was fine.
Just whatever.
any other shows in the chat?
I do you not have any more? No. Okay. I watched Big Mistakes, new on Netflix.
Mistakes.
Big Mistakes. Also has a religious theme to it. Can you tell I'm working through some stuff? But it's Dan Levy and Rachel Sennett that are like the creators of the show. And Dan Levy is in it. He's funny. He's like a gay pastor, closeted gay pastor who has a boyfriend. And it's like sort of a crime show, sort of a family show. And they're really funny characters. And it's just watching imaginary people make the worst decision possible at every turn.
Hell yeah.
Which is really fun to watch. It's just things spiral out of control. The physical comedy is fun. The characters are very well developed. Yeah, and like real life stuff happens. Like they go to a fundraiser and somebody's committed fraud and made away with all the money and there's no actual event. And that
Aw,
probably
hell
has
yeah.
happened in real life. And that sucks. So yeah, it was a really fun watch. season ended on a cliffhanger, so I'm on the edge of my seat for next season. And I just love Dan Levy. Everything he does is great. Heartwarming. Yeah. And everything that he does is usually like family oriented in some way. Even in this one, it's like a crime show, but he's like committing crimes with his sister. And that's nice.
He's a Nepo baby we respect.
Yes.
We respect some of them.
One of the good ones.
I would say,
Yes.
like, just because you were born
I like
into
him.
power and or influence doesn't necessarily make you a bad person, but it does allow you a much more lucrative opportunity
all are
to
just
be.
jealous.
Yeah.
Well, yes, that's true, and we're big enough to.
That's
admit
big. That's big. That's what
but
makes us bigger than Nepo babies.
I
is
feel
that
like he
we're,
also-
we're big enough to admit that we're jealous.
Oh, no, that's real. We are average, and we know it. But I think he uses his like Nepo baby status well. Like he gets the right people into projects. He takes things in directions that like other people probably can't because they're not Nepo babies. So he has conversations about like homosexuality in the church and stuff like that like maybe
cool.
another showrunner maybe would not have gotten a show about. So
Yeah.
I appreciate him for that. And like I'm always going to appreciate like a brother sister comedy. That's like my life and I think that's fun. So it struck a chord in that way. It was funny.
What did you rate it?
I would give that a 9 out of 10. I'm like I'm waiting for next season. It's good. I liked it a lot.
We've had quite the mix of wholesome and
Yes.
horrifying. So
That was the
far.
nicest one I think I watched.
You want to know something wholesome?
Also still about crime though.
Me and Joey went on a date the other day.
Oh.
Did we?
Yeah.
What did we do?
To a live show.
Yeah.
We didn't
Oh,
talk
yeah.
about it. We had a whole podcast that me and you hung out
Yeah,
and
that's
talked,
right.
and we did not talk about the thing that we did together.
That's so
that
true.
wasn't the
whole,
movie
like,
normal.
Wienerfest episode. You didn't talk about your little date.
Talked about that and kissed at the end.
We watched a Glass Cannon live. It's a RPG actual play live show where they played Call of Cthulhu, which is an interesting system. It's but it obviously revolves around Cthulhu and Lovecraftian horror, and that I think that the Glass Cannon people have realized that they really like, or it works really well for them to do the Lovecraftian stuff because they do a lot of it.
Yes,
they
yes.
do a lot of it, and it does work well for them. This was the second Glass Cannon live show I've seen. This was your
This is my first one.
this was your first one. When I last saw it, they were still playing Pathfinder, second edition, and it was part of an ongoing story. And this one, it was Call of Cthulhu, and it was a one shot. It was just a story with a start and an end. And I think that worked better for it.
I agree.
probably.
It just seemed much more approachable because I've listened to actual play podcasts and things like that have had a story going, and then they go to do the live show, and it'll be like their studio and then one live show. So I couldn't imagine like trying to go between multiple different live shows, and because you get to the live show episode of a campaign and you go,
I
oh,
hate
okay.
that shit.
You're like, okay. You kind of listen to it. Sometimes they have audio issues.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you're just like, okay, that's the one that skipped. There's famously Critical Role has one that in season 2 that's around like episode 30 or something like that, and the audio is so horrible. You watch like the views drop. It's like it's less than half for that one episode of like you can see like, okay, people have consistently watched all of these, and then this one just drops hard, and then it picks up the next one. And so I feel like they.
And I think it's a bit awkward the way they play to the audience, and you are just like viewing it as like not that audience that they're playing it to, like at a live show, and you don't have like that energy of being in the audience and all that. So yeah, I really don't like watching live shows. I don't generally like, and that was the issue with the like ongoing story, is I really didn't want to watch all the previous ones because they were all obviously live.
Yeah.
So I went in without knowing the story, but I still had a lot of fun.
Yeah. Because
I got much
they're entertaining
drunker
people.
at that one. They're very entertaining people.
Yeah,
They're
and
very,
so
very funny.
there was a lot of fun to be had at this one. This one, it was brand new. They kind of do Monster of the Week sort of thing.
Yeah, which was very cool.
And they had a couple characters that came back from the previous show.
Yeah,
there was one guy who came back who was just an actual character.
Yeah.
And then another one who allegedly died in the last one.
Cocaine
Popeye. And they brought him back, and he the whole time had horrible 10th degree burns, is what he said.
no.
His whole body.
He said they were only theoretical until now.
Until now. and he talked like this the whole time. And he was every time he would walk, he's like,
Such an insane character choice to make, like, on the fly.
because he said that he chose that like. And when they were in the green room, they were doing
is
the
so
sound
funny.
sound setup and everything like that.
Yeah.
And he goes, I think he survived. And they're like, how? How did he
they're
survive?
spitballing, and he's like, "Oh, what can I role play for? How long are these shows?
It was like 2-3 hours,
Yeah.
2.5, 3 hours.
What am I gonna want to role play for 2+
Yeah.
hours? How about a person with severe burn wounds?
Yeah. Who has
Who's
a fucked up voice.
unintelligible the
Yeah.
entire time. But it's funny because it's played by Skidmar, and he's one of the funniest.
so funny.
He's one of my favorites, and so he just has a charm about doing it, and he plays to it very like. I don't know, very reasonably. I don't think that he's like a nightmare about it. He only does it when it's appropriate, and it's very funny.
It's very funny.
And
you can be cringe and annoying, but it has to be super fucking funny.
Yes, I agree. But there was the opposite for one of the characters who was cringe and annoying, and it was not funny.
Yeah.
And I want to talk to you two about it, you two
Okay.
gals, because there was a gal up there,
Okay.
Nora,
Who's usually
very funny.
very funny. I
Very
wouldn't put her
entertaining,
away. She's
very good,
You've heard her in
very
other
good
stuff?
choice, very good choices.
a good role player.
If you're making new characters every game, you're gonna create a character who's probably a little challenging
Sometimes
to play.
you're
gonna run
have
into
some misses.
some issues. And this one, she played an 18-year-old girl
Okay.
who was a super teen scout who wasn't even like a Girl Scout. She couldn't get in the Girl Scouts,
Aw.
but she kept making references to these sort of trifes that she would have with Ranger Dan, who was like the scoutmaster, and would say things like, "You kiss like Ranger Dan." Ranger Dan would make me dig like an emergency tunnel 500 feet from his house or whatever. Like,
I mean, just like
Endangered-
unambiguous references to
When-
being raped by
when
a grown man.
Ranger Dan was in my
Yikes.
when I woke up in the
Yikes.
middle of the night and Ranger Dan was in my tent, he would
Right.
tell
Oh,
me
no.
to you're like,
So
That's
each
not
of-
a fun
each
scout
of the-
story.
It was insane because I thought that eventually she would understand that nobody else really was digging these jokes. But I think she was going for the shock humor portion of it, and I just don't think it landed with the audience
and
or
there's
me
a
or anyone.
there's a certain a certain amount of I don't even know what the hell I'm trying to say. I can give her credit where credit's due for sticking with a bit. I guess I can say there's like sometimes you like, you know, you're in a movie or you're writing something and you have a character and this is the character that you're given and you have to just ham it up or you're trying to do money, but it's also like you chose this and you're gonna keep doing it. All right, we're doing this. Maybe there's one, like, I understand like an offhanded comment. You're improving. You're making it up. You're like, ooh, maybe that was a little rough. But hey, I said it, and it's in the lore. We're gonna move on. Nope. We're gonna keep doing it the whole time.
I mean,
yeah.
the thing
It was
is, if you're gonna be doing something like that, where you're having to like riff with each
Yeah.
other and do this whole story, you have to be able to sense if it's not working or vibing, you know, with the group. Because otherwise, every time you try to do it and they're not playing off of it, it's just gonna be weird and fall flat and not
Weird
be
for
funny.
everyone.
It was. I mean, the people on the stage were visibly uncomfortable
Yeah.
and trying
Oh,
to
that's
like
hard to
avoid
watch.
these jokes. He killed her character off first. I think very
Nice.
intentionally.
Oh,
But
okay.
but the thing is, Call of Cthulhu is also just kind of brutal in general.
It
like,
is.
You're not. It's not like D&D where you're supposed to like you can take hits and you can make some risky moves.
I just don't think it's a coincidence.
but it's not a
that-
coincidence. I don't
that her
think. No.
character died. It was bad enough that I thought that there was an intermission. I thought they would go into the green room and they would talk to her
And they'd be
say
like, "Hey, we gotta
That's-
turn this around."
how bad I thought it was. But they,
And-
if they had that discussion, she did not.
And she was the only gal up on stage, so that's why I wanted to pose it to you two and say, now if you had seen this like in like a girly sort of media or something like that, like a more woman centric movie or show or something, and there was this character that kept reoccurring who kept saying these things. But it was like in the context of like there's other, I don't know, what are your guys' thoughts on that specifically? Like,
Do you think
is it
it's
ever
funny to joke about?
Is
rape?
it ever fun? Yeah, is this
To
like
joke
ever
about
funny?
child molestation. Okay, this might be a hot take, but I do make jokes about that sometimes because the scout thing is a trope.
Well, yeah, but you'll say it about me. You'll be like,
yes.
you'll say
Yes.
that like I got
different.
molested.
It's
you're
funny.
you're pointing at me and saying it. You're not
yes.
like calling
I
out.
do.
Hey, you know what?
Dark humor.
So like
Never
I
happened.
can understand a dark joke, but if in a setting like that, if you're not going to like address it and like say something, it would just be distracting.
Yeah, it's just again, time and place.
Like like
it's
missing.
it's never good to joke about rape or molestation. That should be obvious and clear, but
People make jokes about all kinds of horrible things.
yeah.
The difference is sometimes the crowds are into it and sometimes they're not. And this is a situation where clearly the crowd and the other participants were not into it. And that is a situation where you got to read the room. If you're trying to make a statement, make it, I guess.
Well,
but if you're not trying to make a statement, you're just making everybody
And
uncomfortable.
I think it's weird because you could like a guy could never play Ranger Dan, like the guy who like was the alleged
Yikes.
guy who took advantage of her. Like you couldn't have a role player play him
No.
and it fly.
That
But
would
I'm
not
trying
be
to
fun.
Is it
imagine
okay-
playing like a man playing like a Boy Scout
Yeah.
and making these sorts of jokes about Ranger Dan as a Boy Scout versus a Girl Scout. Like, would we think it's as cringe? Probably.
Probably, yeah.
Probably. I think
the
this
idea of
cuts
like
both ways.
making a character for this and it being a victim.
Centered around that.
Yeah,
It's
just
interesting.
It's like her only
weird.
character.
Did it explain like why she did things? Like was there like a narrative reason why she kept mentioning
No,
it?
it was just when she thought it would be funniest to bring it up.
Yeah.
See, like if you're like explaining that like they make certain decisions based on this weird trauma history, I guess.
I mean, she kind of like
maybe.
latched onto one of the characters, kept calling him her boyfriend. Like I don't know.
That was also uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no,
it was just maybe,
that sounds maybe like just mismarked.
But the other characters and the other
They were silly and-
players were very good and very funny. Who else was on stage? Josiah.
We had Jared who played like an assassin from
Jared
Assassin's
Logan.
Creed.
Yes, that was very funny.
He was like, I'm an assassin. I sneak in from the crowd. He had 3 knives.
I stab someone in the neck.
Yeah.
and then I disappear into the crowd.
Yep. And then there was another one who was like a podcast host
Yes.
who also
That's funny.
is a disgraced senator.
Yes,
That's
that
hilarious.
was Matthew's character.
Yeah.
That was so fucking funny.
There was a race car driver,
Who was that?
Flash. That was
Flash. That's funny.
that was Ron's character.
Pause.
And then
Rob.
Rob's character,
Rob
Kirkovic.
Kirkovich.
Rob Kirkovich. And then there was who else was up?
I think that was it.
That was it. That was like there's only 5 of them.
Yeah, well, that was part of what made me.
Yeah.
It made it a little. I was a little disappointed because a lot of the core cast was missing.
I know that and they kept. I feel like every time I looked at that, like the lineup they were going to introduce, it was always different.
Yeah,
I feel like it was pretty accurate at one point to who was going to be up there, and then all of a sudden it changed and it said there was going to be a bunch of people. I think maybe it like weirdly updated because like the next day,
I don't know.
they were supposed to have a bunch of those people there. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
I'd rate it 3.5 out of 5.
Yeah, I would say that it was pretty cool. 3.5 out of 5.
Yeah, I could have done without
7 out of
the and and there were a couple core cast members that I was expecting to be there that weren't, that were a little, it was a
Lame.
little disappointing
Yeah.
that they were not.
It almost felt like the stage was pretty small, though. I don't know how they all would have fit on the stage.
Did anyone else watch any actual play live shows or
Go on
just
any-
us?
Sorry.
So and we talked about all the TV shows
And all the movies.
and all the movies, video
And all the
games.
documentaries.
I have
Nothing
music
that
to
I've
talk
beaten.
About now.
Nothing that you've beaten. We've picked up Tamagotchi Life in addition to Minecraft. We've been playing Tamagotchi Life.
Hell yeah. I will say that last week I talked about how my comfort game had been Project Zomboid.
Yeah.
And that I don't know what I would do if my character died. I probably would be done with the game.
Oh no.
And then that night,
No way.
we decided, we were like, you know what we're going to do? We're pretty geared up. We got all these good guns. We got all this food. We're going to go into a big city. We're going to follow this little lead. Like sometimes you like find maps that say something.
Yeah.
Like go here.
Mhm.
And so
Sure.
we decided to go into the city and it was it got bad. We got overran. I was up on this roof. I like fell off a little ledge and broke my leg.
Oh no.
Our friend played a doctor, but we didn't have any materials, so they couldn't give me a splint. And then they got overran, and then I was just
Did
on
you
this
all
roof.
die?
No.
They left you for dead on the roof?
Well, no, he died, and then I died,
Oh,
and then our
no.
other friend
That was
had just
so
been like
sad.
driving around trying to get the zombies away from us.
Yeah.
Couldn't get it.
That's so
Didn't do
sad.
My car broke down. I got off that roof, fought my way through with a broken leg,
Jesus
got in my
Christ.
car, and then my car fucking broke down. The thing is that the driving in that game, it's interesting because it's not first person,
Yeah.
and it's locked,
Yes.
Ew.
and so
Skill issue.
it's just well, sometimes you think that you're gonna like pass something, and it just slightly nick something, and it just that little damage, or it's like you're trying to get around a herd of zombies and you touch a couple and it just slowly starts wearing your car down.
So are you done with Project Zomboid?
Yeah, I finished it. I'm done.
For now.
Done now.
Going
Starting
back
on
to
Stardew
it.
Valley. I had to
Oh,
switch.
that's nice.
Exact
Nice.
opposites.
It's a really
Oh, that's
good
right.
180.
Stardew Valley, I feel a lot better.
Are you guys playing it together?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Love Stardew Valley.
Anybody can join at any time. We just got to summer.
Nice.
Good season.
I'm making more progress on my Minecraft world.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
And Tamagotchi Life is so good. It's so funny.
It's funny and cute.
You make Mii's, like classic Nintendo Mii's, and you put them on an island, and they interact with each other and grow relationships and start saying, you can give them things to say that they say in real life to like spice them up and make them feel more like themselves. And
Okay.
it's so fucking funny. The emergent things that come out of that is so good. I'm really enjoying
It's fun.
Tamagotchi Life.
It is fun.
I've got some of my family in there, Nikki's friends. Morpheus from The Matrix is on my
Hell yeah.
island. Who else is on our island, Nikki?
Nosferatu.
Nosferatu is on there.
Dominic Toretto.
Dr. Robbie from The Pit. His name is Dr. Rabinovich, but it's pronounced Dr. Michael Rabinovich. And his friends call him Dr. Robbie.
Mm.
That's nice.
But we haven't beaten anything. So it doesn't count.
Doesn't count.
I don't know if you can beat Tamagotchi
No,
Life, though, to
I
be
don't
fair.
think so.
It's just one of those things that runs on forever and ever.
Yeah.
I think so. It's like do you ever beat Animal Crossing?
No. I played it hard for a month, though. Like everyone did during
Yeah.
lockdown. Everyone played it hard for a month, and then they gave up on it.
Which is fine.
Which is fine.
Games don't have to go on
It
forever.
was the game of the pandemic, I'd say.
Yeah, for sure. Books.
Book corner. Let me
Book
stop-
time.
Nikki's
let me
book
stop
time.
We didn't have any
yawning. Let me
books
wake
last
up.
We didn't have
because
any
we
books.
can't read.
Yeah.
we can't read.
We have two.
I
That's our
am in the middle of a
wieners
book.
that
I'll have a
prevents us
book
from
with me
reading.
next week.
We need 60
Okay.
big. Get in the way of the book.
Hold Rachel accountable. She just said she would have a book ready
We're
next
talking about
week.
something
I
else.
will have it for next week. I promise.
I believe you.
I can
And-
read a book by next week.
Yeah, Josiah. That's what you said 2 weeks ago. You set a reasonable, realistic goal,
I've seen the books.
and then what happened? You
You
gave us nothing.
well, first I got to learn how to read, and then it takes a while, all right. And then you have
That's
to.
actually true. Nikki, what did
So,
you read?
I'm trying.
So the first book that I finished since last recording was Mr. Mercedes by Stephen King. This is only the second Stephen King book I've ever read.
Okay.
The other one being The Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, that's
okay.
intense.
Wow.
So, but both of those, like The Shawshank Redemption, is not like a lot of Stephen King's other really famous stuff. You know,
It's good,
it is excellent. Highly recommend that one.
as opposed.
well,
You
it's
don't
also
think the
not
other
really
ones
like
are good?
rooted
I
in
don't know. That's
like
the
the
only-
supernatural.
It's the only Stephen
I've
King
never
book
read
I've
the
ever
books. I'm like
Stephen
halfway
King
through a book
usually
about
like
writing.
it's like
that he's
horror
wrote.
or the supernatural, whereas the Shawshank Redemption is truly more of like a piece of just regular fiction.
Yeah. Yeah. This Mr. Mercedes is kind of like following a cop, a recently retired cop. He gets pulled into like reinvestigating this mass murderer dude when he should not be investigating anything because he's retired. And you kind of get a dual POV of this cop and then of the mass murderer, and he, like where their paths cross, and it's a little creepy. And the mass murderer guy has some really weird mommy stuff, and there's some uncomfortable depictions, and some horrific stuff for sure, especially when he's describing the actual mass murder moment. But I thought this was pretty good. It had me captivated. It had me like, oh, murder mystery moment, you know? It wasn't, I didn't really know fully what to expect when I went into it. And there is another book. I don't think I'll read the other book because it's just not really what I'm into.
Mrs. Mercedes?
No.
That's the sequel to... Yeah, I think you're thinking of the sequel to Pac-Man, which is Mrs. Pac-Man.
I just didn't like hearing
True.
a murderer describe or plan future mass murders.
That's crazy,
It was too real, you know. Like
You felt like he really got into character when he was writing that. He was like,
I just
he
wanted to think about
he had the
that.
mind
Yeah,
of a serial
I just-
killer.
You know, I already like when we walk into a big public space, I don't want to have more intrusive thoughts about things that could happen.
Make you a little too self-aware.
Yeah. But I gave this a 3.5 out of 5
Okay.
stars because
That's
it
pretty
was
good.
it was good. It was good. It was weird, but it was good. I will read more Stephen King. I want to read some more of the classics.
This not deterred me.
No, because this is one of his newer novels.
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
So it's totally unlike I think some of his more classic stuff that people love.
I like that when you
Time
can
again.
when an author takes stuff in other directions. They don't have to like. They're like, I have the one note.
Sometimes I'm into that.
I prefer when they do the same thing.
I was gonna say sometimes I feel misled.
Hey, that one guy who wrote Normal wrote the other John Wick movies. Did
Dude,
you like
I like
Normal
when he
more?
just writes the same thing forever.
But it seems like Stephen King is multifaceted. You know, we've got Shawshank Redemption, Mr. Mercedes, and then you just have It hanging out.
Carrie.
The
Carrie,
Shining.
you know, like, you know, yeah, he definitely is, you know, can do a lot.
Dark Tower.
I actually just
I've been saying he's
podcast about Stephen
underrated.
King.
I've been. You know what?
The Stephen King
Not
guy?
enough people talk about Stephen King.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about all that.
It's kind of a small writer.
I don't know if that's true.
What's your next book?
After I finished that, Whiplash, I listened to Fear the Flames by Olivia Rose Darling. This was a classic romantasy moment, but much better than the last romantasy that I reviewed that I thought was horrible. But it did, this main character, female main character, is literally Daenerys Targaryen plus Selena Sardothian from Throne of Glass.
Okay.
Like block for block, cell by cell, she is both of those characters.
Breaker of
So,
Chains.
In a fun way or
Mother
in like
of
a
Dragons
redundant way?
plus like has a trauma history and
She's actually a mother of dragons in this book.
yeah, like she gets gifted dragon eggs as
Oh
a
my
child.
God.
And
Really?
then, you know, like
That is like almost the exact same. That's
yeah,
funny.
yeah. So that's a little cringe. Not cringe enough for me not to read the sequel. So
Okay.
I'm currently listening to the sequel because I thought like the actual writing is pretty okay, and the romance part isn't making me feel ill. So I gave Fear the Flames 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5. How, on a scale of 1 to 10, how smutty is it?
Not that smutty.
Okay.
1 to 10.
Yeah, a 3 out of 5 or 1 out of
We're
5.
inconsistent in our scales.
1 out of 7.
I think out of 10, like maybe a 3.5.
Oh, okay,
4. There's no like horrible description.
Yeah, I would say that's not even smutty.
No, it is like horny though, and there's like build up and all
Hey,
that
that's
stuff.
okay.
So you know, but yeah, that's not the primary function of the book. So that's why I appreciate it.
Sorry.
After that, again, Whiplash. I listened to Farther Than the Moon by Lindsay Lackey, which was picked by
Choking.
Farther Than the Moon by Lindsay Lackey, which was picked by our 10-year-old nephew for our book club. So this was
nice.
a children's book. I would call this like a YA though. It was pretty serious themes following this little kid goes to space camp and his brother has cerebral palsy and his brother really wants to go to the moon and he's like, how can I make this happen for my brother? And it was really
Rocket
heartwarming. No. It was really heartwarming. Had some like pretty serious themes about like disability, about divorce and parents leaving and all kinds of stuff.
Kids can read about disability and divorce. And
Absolutely. It was
That's
just
real life.
It's good
was
for them to
not
read
what I was
that.
expecting.
More exposure to it. I would say that, you know, all those sheltered kids, read some books because that's how you get to know the world if you're not allowed outside.
Well, and the
Yeah.
non-sheltered kids need their lives represented too. You know, not every kid is behind a picket fence.
That's
it was
fair.
also just really sweet, like hearing his perspective on like growing up with a sibling with a disability and what that looks like day to day. And I think this is a really good one for kids to read, as you know, if you don't have any friends with disabilities, you just wouldn't know. So it was really good. I gave that a 4 out of 5. Can't wait to talk about it at book club and hear
that's
his
nice.
perspective.
Yeah.
Because
How old is he?
he's 10.
That's sweet.
Aw.
No, that's I hope that's nice.
And it's very advanced. Like when I was listening to this, I was like, wow, this is a
He's a good reader.
yeah, he's gotta be a good reader. Cool. One more.
Go for it.
The Bands of Mourning by Brandon Sanderson. So this is again in the
Mistborn era 2,
we're
book
back
3.
on it.
we're back, baby. Probably every other podcast.
Brando
will
Sando
end up
back at it
some-
again.
Well, you're
Brando
gonna run
Sando.
out of them
He's
I
just
don't
gonna
know.
keep writing.
Yeah, he will continue to write, and I will continue to catch up. So
one every other week.
this is second era of Mistborn. I've talked about the others in prior episodes. Again, this is like Western era,
Yeah, Old West,
Old West. Not,
not
Old West.
not the New World.
I feel like this one in particular really felt like a Louis L'Amour meets Metal Magic. Like
What the hell is that?
Louis L'Amour he's got like a billion Western
Oh, okay.
Old West novels that are
Gotcha.
always like there's a love story and there's a gunfight and it's the classic,
Same structure every time.
yes. Because this one did have they have like an arranged marriage situation that starts out without them liking or really being in love with each other, and by the end of this book they actually do find out that they like each other, so
mean,
that's nice.
If an arranged marriage is your lot, I guess that's all you can hope for.
I'm sad that I only have one more left in this era because I do enjoy the Wild West stuff. So
I love a good
That's
Western.
fun.
Do you feel like the scope got a little bloated as this era has gone on, because it started pretty narrow in scope? It's just like an Old West thing with magic, and it has sort of. Do you know what I'm saying? Give me your opinion. I'm done talking.
I mean, like I liked. I liked it
As a man should.
I just hoping she'd interrupt me at some point.
I just didn't know where you were going with that. I did like in this one how we're getting a little glimpse of the broader world.
Yeah, so you do.
I do like that because
Okay.
how else are you going to get the third, fourth, fifth, however many eras he's planning if you don't broaden the scope of the world?
Okay. I'm interested to see if that's still your opinion after the fourth one, because I feel the fourth one goes even harder
Okay.
with that sort of thing. I feel like he set out to make smaller, more, smaller in scope, I guess, Western stories, and it like ballooned out of control. That's the vibe I get. I still like both of those things, but maybe wish it was a little separated.
I don't know. It almost seems like this gave him an opportunity to make it a little bit more like fantasy, rooted in fantasy, with this new culture that you're getting mixed in there. It I don't know. Right now, it seems like it could be a good transition into the third.
We'll see in fucking 2030.
Yeah.
When the next books comes out. Maybe later, since now he has to work on the Mistborn movie and the Stormlight Archive show.
Right. It'll all be worth it in the end. I rated the Bands of Mourning 4 out of 5 stars. So
Nice.
there you go.
Brandon Sanderson makes a solid book.
Mm-hmm.
None of them are bad. I think very few of them are great, like outstanding and great. I think he makes a very solid book. I think the first Mistborn is great and outstanding.
Yes.
I really like that one. Any other books? Anything else at all?
I listened to some music.
Okay.
New album singular. Noah Kahan. It was.
You said that
it's long.
you said earlier. You're
I
like,
have
hey, I'm going to talk about that
circled-
album.
I got it.
Here it comes, guys.
Here's the callback.
We're taking the pen out that we put in.
Yes. I have a few songs that are my favorite so far. We have
What's he doing down there?
a few sounds.
Dust.
But Noah Kahan sounds were good. So far, my favorite songs on the album are Haircut, Dashboard, and 23. It seems like he's working through some stuff in this. Clearly, in more than one instance is like fuck you or like you're a douchebag in that many words.
A little
angsty for sure, but in a way that I can appreciate. 23 is about being 23, and that was an angsty time for me for sure.
Is he
so
23?
Like, I can relate. No, I think it is past tense. I don't know though. I guess I could fact check that.
What genre of music is this?
It's a little folksy.
Oh.
Yeah, some of it is a little more fast paced, but most of it is like pretty low key. Very like, I wouldn't say acoustic, but like
Americana,
a little more analog. It's nice. He feels more unplugged than from what I've seen him before, and I like that he gets a little pointed. He calls some people out in his life, I think, and I think that's what it's for, probably for somebody writing an album. It's fun to listen to. I'm gonna listen to it more. It's really long. It's like a lot of songs.
How long is it? He's also 29 years old.
21 songs.
21 songs.
I know.
What's the runtime?
1 hour 36 minutes.
That's
a long-ass
That's
album.
like two albums.
It's
that's
a long ass
crazy.
album.
He's got a
so
lot of shit to say.
He had a lot to say.
Do you think it's I know that obviously there was like the documentary about it. Is it a pretty good companion piece? Does he like go through every song at some point, or does he?
No, not enough.
Okay, it's
Not
just
a
kind of like
documentary.
broadly.
It's just like broadly about the fact that the documentary is about the fact that he like has always wanted to be famous, had this really great like few intros into being famous, and like has really high expectations for his like act 2 of being a performer. Like everybody loved what he did the first time. Now he's like famous in a small town, and like they're like, now what? And that's a lot of pressure. And I think he did really well. He had a lot to say. I think he said it well. I'm excited to see what other songs speak to me throughout the listening experience.
What would you rate it?
So far I've been pretty moved. It's a fun listen. 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10.
Yeah.
I think that's our first merch.
What's our first merch? What would you rate it?
That's funny.
My parents were asking me about merch.
Hell yeah. Woo! Let's go, cha-ching.
You know what I said to them? Email me about it.
Email me at our email, whatwebeatlastweek@gmail.com.
And you know what they didn't do?
They didn't email us
They
about
didn't
it.
email
We
us.
had one of our friends we were talking about had some insights, and I said, hey,
Okay.
why don't you just email it to us?
Yeah.
And guess what?
He didn't.
Didn't do it.
Send us
So
an
I want everyone
email.
out there, if you're seeing this, if you're hearing this, go ahead and just shoot us an email. whatwebeatlastweek@gmail.com.
You know what I did just now? I checked to make sure that it is spelled correctly. The email. That's right. I was
Is it
like,
spelled correctly?
It is spelled
Did we
correctly.
miss
God.
something? Have we
Thank
missed anything?
God.
You could even just email us your favorite Noah Khan song.
Yeah.
You can just tell us about a movie that you saw or a show that you saw. It doesn't have to be about what we saw. It can be about what you saw.
Yeah, forward us your Chili's
Book
receipts. We don't care.
recommendations.
Yeah,
Don't
we'll go to
do that.
Chili's. We'll try something new. You say you like the jalapeno margarita. We'll
Next
try
time
it.
we'll talk about a
try
triple
it.
dipper.
Tell us your opinion on what you think is the most problematic scene in Jackass.
Oh,
Ooh,
no.
for sure. Tell us
I don't wanna
your
hear.
favorite Stephen King book and your least favorite Brandon Sanderson book.
Rate, review on all the podcast apps.
Hit that bell to
Hit
get the
that bell.
notifications.
Subscribe. Sorry if this one comes out on a Tuesday instead of a Monday. I'm so fucking
It's
sorry.
because now we have
so
4
fucking
individual
sorry.
tracks, and it's already over 2 hours.
Oh my
Oh my
god.
god, dude. And we started like 4 hours later than we thought we were gonna start.
Oh
Oh
god!
no.
Yeah, sorry.
We're
See you
doing our
next.
best.
See you next week.
All right, everybody, have a good one. Bye bye now.
Nikki named 3 women.
Rachel, Nicole, Mariah Carey.